Hi guys, it's me ShazzaHD and welcome to today's qualifying watch along for the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku, and we are set, I think, for a very exciting qualifying session because this track, as always, is proving very hard not to have an accident, and it's proving hard for a lot of teams out there, and also it's very close, especially in the midfield, and I think we are in for a very exciting qualifying today. Hopefully you guys are doing well no matter where you are in the world. For me, it's just gone 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK. And as I'm talking, we are now 1 hour away from the start of qualifying. And I'm now going to build up to qualifying with how I think certain teams are going to do. Also look at some talking points and also make my predictions for what I think will happen in qualifying today in Baku. And again, hopefully, no matter where you are in the world, you guys are doing well on what is, for me, a Saturday afternoon. But before I go on to the teams and I preview how I think they are going to do, let me first go on to the results of practice 3, which ended about 1 hour ago. And here are the results. Charles Leclerc was fastest from Sebastian Vettel in second. Max Verstappen was third from Bottas fourth, Hamilton fifth, Kvyat sixth, K-Mag in P7, Albon P8, Perez P9 and Kimi Raikkonen in P10. By the way, look at the gap in lap time between Ferrari and the rest of the field. That is massive. I don't think it'll be that big at the end of qualifying, but it does really show you who has the best car in Baku. And I'll get onto that in just a moment. And here is the bottom 10. It's Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, Norris, Sainz, Stroll, Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Kubica, Russell and Pierre Gasly. By the way, Pierre Gasly will be starting the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix tomorrow from the pit lane. I'll get into why that is the case in just a moment. But now let's start off previewing the teams and start off with Mercedes. Now, in terms of their position, I think they're doing as they expected they were going to do, say be around third and fourth place, a second row kind of start if that's where they do qualify for tomorrow's Grand Prix. So, position-wise, they're not looking that bad, but pace-wise, I think it's pretty clear to see that they do not have the best car, and I think that's down really to sheer power. They just don't have the power that Ferrari do, and they are really struggling compared to Ferrari. I think they will bring it back, and I think they are not going to be that far off at the end of qualifying. If they don't get pole, I think they will be, say, 2.5 to 3 tenths of a second off with their fastest car, which is likely to be Lewis Hamilton, in my opinion. So yeah, I think I don't think they have the car to go for pole position. It's not to say that that won't happen. I mean, we've seen Lewis Hamilton before, that he can do what you think sometimes is the impossible. So he could get pole position, but most likely the best they can do is hope for an error by Ferrari or an error by one of the drivers, or one of their drivers to start on at least the front row. But I think they will be a lot closer than they were in practice 2 and practice 3. I don't see them being that far behind. So if you are a fan of Hamilton, Bottas or Mercedes, then don't worry too much, because I think they will be a lot closer than they have shown so far. I think they are, say, sandbagging more so than Ferrari are. Talking of Ferrari, let's go on to them now. They do have the best car. It's pretty clear to see that. Their car is working so well at Baku. Also, they have a driver in that car that is so good around this track in Charles Leclerc. And they are the favourites for pole position. You cannot doubt that. The power that they have going down the final sector in the pit straight is absolutely insane. Honestly, it's insane how quick they are in a straight line. Now, pace in a straight line won't be everything today, because of course you have that very difficult middle sector where you absolutely cannot make an error. But you know, with the power they have in that final sector, even if they aren't that great in the middle sector, they're still going to pull back plenty of time compared to a Mercedes or even a Red Bull. So undoubtedly Ferrari are the favourites for pole. All they have to do, with both drivers, is just not make errors, and they'll end up, I think, at least getting pole position. And to be honest, they really should lock out the front row. That's how quick the Ferrari car is around Baku. Next up is Red Bull. Red Bull, pace-wise in practice 3, Max Verstappen wasn't too bad. I don't think he will be that great, though, in qualifying. I think Max Verstappen will qualify in P5 behind the 2 Ferraris and the 2 Mercedes cars, because I just don't think when everything is turned up engine-wise, I don't think Honda has enough to put Max Verstappen higher than P5 on the grid. So, yeah, pace-wise, I think 5th is realistically where Max Verstappen will be. But now let's go on to Pierre Gasly, who, as I said a minute ago, will be starting the Grand Prix tomorrow from the pit lane. Now, you may be wondering why. Let me now tell you why. Basically, at the end of practice 2, he came into the pit lane to do a practice pit stop and missed the weighbridge. And he was called to the weighbridge because there was a signal. I think there's a signal as you enter the pit lane. If you are called into the weighbridge, it will show your first 3 initials or letters of your final name and then a number. Pierre missed that, obviously, and continued down the pit lane, missed the weighbridge, and will now start from the pit lane. Now, you may think, oh, that's too harsh, but that's the rules. You have to have your car weighed, because you can't have, teams just not getting weighed because they might be running an illegal car. You have to check these cars all the time to see if they are legal against the competition. So you may think it's harsh, but that's the rules, and he deservedly got a penalty for that. And I don't think he can really argue with the penalty, because there was a pretty clear signal for him to come into the weighbridge, but he just completely forgot about it. But there you go. But yeah, pace-wise, I think Red Bull have the 3rd best car. And as long as Max Verstappen puts it in at least P5, then I think qualifying has been absolutely fine for Red Bull. With Pierre Gasly, of course, because he's done from the pit lane, it doesn't matter what he does. But I will say, because of the slipstream effect around Baku, I think they should try and get Pierre Gasly into Q3 so Max can use his slipstream to get even more speed on the pit straight. And if they can utilise that, then maybe Max could end up qualifying higher than 5th. I don't know if Gasly has the pace, to be honest, to get into the top 10, and I don't know if they're going to do that. But if they can, then they should. So, yeah, hopefully Red Bull try and do that. But before I go on to the midfield, right now, guys, in the live chat, let me know what you guys think is going to happen for the top 3 teams. For Mercedes, can they take the fight to Ferrari, in your opinion? For Ferrari, do you think they do have the absolute best car? And for Red Bull, can Max Verstappen qualify higher than 5th? Let me know right now in the live chat, and I'll read out as many comments as I can for the next 5 minutes or so, and then we'll go on to the midfield. Just to let you guys know, though, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell for my review of qualifying, which will be going live at 6 PM UK time until 7 PM UK time. So don't forget to subscribe for that. You can subscribe either by clicking subscribe on the bottom right of the screen, or go to my homepage and subscribe and hit the notifications bell. But before I move on to the chat, I am quickly just going to have a quick drink and clear my throat, and then we'll get to reading some of your comments. Right. Now, Let's see what you guys have to say. By the way, nice to see 100 people here already. Thank you guys for coming along so early. We do have another 50 minutes until qualifying starts. So, yeah, but thank you guys for coming along. It's great to have you here. And by the way, hello to Francisco in the chat. Hello to all of you who are tuning in right now. But now, let me read out some comments in regards to the top teams and how you think they're going to do. Nicholas Kurban says Vettel better get his act together. Charles looking like the future. Dennis O'Boyle says honestly he thinks Leclerc will get pole. And Dennis asks also, do you think Gasly can get points? To be honest, I don't think he can, because I don't think the Red Bull car is quick enough at Baku in the areas where you need to be to make positions up. And I don't think Pierre's that fast of a driver, so no, I don't think he can. He will need a typical Baku chaotic Grand Prix if he's going to do that. Right, let me find some more comments here. Andrew Jury says, knowing Azerbaijan, Gasly will probably win the race. That would be incredible if that did happen. Sebastian, great to see him, says Ferrari actually look really quick in the middle sector. The upgrades have worked and I see Charles on pole from Vettel and Hamilton. We need a Ferrari win. I am not going to say yet whether they have worked or not, the upgrades, because I want to see in qualifying when everyone is pushing as hard as possible whether they're actually working or not, because I can guarantee you Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas will not be over a second slower than Ferrari. I can guarantee that. So let's see in qualifying before we absolutely confirm whether these upgrades for Ferrari have worked. I hope they have, so that Mercedes have a fight for 2019, but I want to see confirmation in qualifying before I can say if they have worked or not. Right, let me look at some more comments. Nib, great to see him in the chat. By the way, Nib will be on the race watch-along tomorrow. The race watch-along, by the way, will start an hour earlier than we've started today because the race starts an hour earlier than qualifying starts today. So just to let you guys know that. He says, I think we're all super excited for this session. Yeah, I am, for sure, because I think we are going to have definitely between, say, P6 and P13, P14, we're going to have a lot of swapping around of positions. Nib also says Ferrari have been running more downforce than Merc so far this weekend. That's no surprise because Ferrari have the better straight line speed and Mercedes know that they have to try and limit the time they're losing in the final sector, so that's not really a surprise, to be honest. Toro Loco says, there's no way Mercedes are only a couple tenths up on Toro Rosso. Absolutely, and that's why I say they're not going to be that far behind Ferrari, because there's no way Toro Rosso are that close, and if they are, then unless we have such a chaotic Grand Prix, I don't see how Mercedes could, even think to win the Grand Prix tomorrow. But again, I don't think they're going to be that slow. I don't think that is the case. But Francisco does ask, and kind of state also, Toro Rosso best of the rest? So far, you have to say yes, they are. They were great in practice 2, great in practice 3. They look to be the best midfield team so far this weekend. I also do think that has a bit to do with their power unit, which of course is developing all the time and improving all the time. So I think it does have something to do with that. But yeah, they are looking very, very good. And hello to Gina. And don't worry, you're not too late. We've only been, underway for 15 minutes. And we've got another 45 minutes until qualifying starts. So don't worry, you're not too late. And the final comment, by the way, hello to Astro Stevo, who asks about Renault. I'll get onto them in a moment. Botti Gamer says, I think Seb will Vettel it, and here's to Lance in Q3. we'll see about that. I'm not sure the Racing Point car is quite quick enough to do so, but let's hope we can have some unusual people in Q3. But now let me go on to the midfield and start off with Renault, who are not looking good this weekend. They were terrible in practice 2. In practice 3, they didn't look too bad, but still not really that good enough. And I don't see Renault. I don't see Renault having a good qualifying. I think the best they can hope for is sneaking a car into the top 10. I don't see how they can possibly get both cars into Q3. I don't see it. They just don't have the speed, especially on the straights. I just don't see how Renault can get a car into the top 10. They just don't have the pace. They've really struggled. Toro Rosso look like they're clearly faster than them. I think Haas can be faster than them. Alfa Romeo look to be right there with Renault, if not faster. So Renault are really struggling. And again, the best they can hope for is just about getting a car into the top 10. But any more than that, I don't think is really possible with how their car is right now at this track. But we'll move on from Renault, go on to McLaren. McLaren, I don't know about McLaren. I think they can, if they get the lap right, they can get a great position, but they just don't seem to be doing that. Zach Brown, after practice 3, said that the reason they were so far down was because they were having a lot of issues with traffic, which of course is an issue at Baku. So, yeah, McLaren, that's the feeling I get with McLaren. If they get the lap right, they can get maybe into the top 10, but as we've seen at Baku, it's pretty hard to get that near perfect lap to get the position that you're hoping to get. It's a very hard track to get an absolute banging lap in unless you do have a very, very good car like Leclerc and Vettel have, for example, this weekend. So, yeah, McLaren, kind of similar to Renault. I think the best they can do is get a car into the top 10. I don't see how they can get both cars in. So, yeah, for them, I think they're looking basically the same as Renault, but I will say I wouldn't be surprised if McLaren outqualified Renault, because I think, again, if they put the lap in, I think they could do so. I think they really could outperform Renault in qualifying. Next up is Alfa Romeo, who in practice 3 were looking a lot stronger than they were in practice 2. And this is the thing, and I'll talk about this also with Haas. Because they have that power unit, the Ferrari power unit, they really should, in the final sector, be way quicker than any other midfield team. So, really for Alfa Romeo, as long as they get the first 2 sectors, bang on, then they really should be, strong. Both Alfa Romeo and Haas, they really should be strong in, say, the latter stages of Q2, getting into the top 10. So, yeah, if Alfa, again, kind of like McLaren, if they get the laps in, I think they can get a car into the top 10. But I think Alfa's potential is stronger than McLaren and Renault's. I think Kimi Räikkönen could end up, say, P8 or P9. I think his potential position is a bit higher than, say, one of the McLaren drivers or one of the Renault drivers. So, Alfa, as long as they get the slow speed aerodynamic parts of the track right, then in the final sector they really should blow the field away, just like the other team with a Ferrari power unit, Haas. And Haas, I think, will definitely get a car into the top 10 because, again, the advantage they do have in a straight line in the final sector. So I think they will get a car into the top 10. I don't think it'll be both cars because Romain Grosjean has been so far off the pace this weekend. And I think it's basically a guarantee that if Haas do get one car into the top 10, it will be Kevin Magnussen. So I think K-Mag will get into the top 10. Probably end up P8, P9 type of area. For Grosjean, I don't see how he can get into the top 10 because he has really, really struggled. he's really struggled this weekend, and I don't see him having a good weekend. He didn't have a good weekend last year. He's never really had a good time at Baku. So yeah, K-Mag, if you're going to watch out for Haas, K-Mag is the driver to watch out for, because Grosjean is way off the pace. Next up, Toro Rosso. And Toro Rosso, you have to say, have the best car in the midfield so far this weekend. Whether they'll maintain that, I don't know. But based on practice 2 and practice 3, consistently, they have been right up there, and they really should maintain that kind of position. And if they did end up qualifying, say, 6th and 7th, or 6th and 8th, or even 6th and 9th, that would be great for Toro Rosso, especially in the Constructors' Championship, because even though they have scored points at the first 3 races, they haven't been big points, and they're still quite low down. I think they're in 9th, to be honest, or to be truthful, in the Constructors. I think they are in P9. So even though they have done well so far this season, they can do better. And I think if they do get a high qualifying position, then that does set them up for a great day tomorrow. But one thing they do have to avoid is something that has really become quite a habit for Toro Rosso so far in 2019, and that is Toro Rosso tend to be very good in practice, but then when it comes to qualifying, they tend to drop off and both cars get eliminated in Q3, or in Q2, sorry. They need to avoid that. They need to get the best out of their car in qualifying, something they haven't done, I think, so far in 2019, because if they do that, with how they normally are when it comes to race day and race pace, if they get a great qualifying position, they should have a very strong Grand Prix, so hopefully they can maintain the speed they've had so far this weekend. Next up, Racing Point. This is the thing with Racing Point. Historically, great track, they should be great here, but so far, they haven't been that good. Sergio Perez in practice 3 was in P9, which is not too bad. That's actually quite good, considering how the Racing Point car has been this season. Stroll was down in 15th, but yeah, Racing Point, they just haven't been, you know, amazingly quick so far this weekend. And I'm going to say, kind of similar to Haas, I think they could absolutely get a car into the top 10, but they're not looking particularly strong, and it's not, they're guaranteed that they're going to do so, but they could if they really maximize the lap. I think the chances of them getting both cars into the top 10 are quite slim, but again, if they get the lap right, then they should get both cars in to the top, not both cars, one of their cars into the top 10, sorry. But now we've gone to Williams, who are last of all in the order I'm doing, and also last of all in Formula 1, and they're going to be at the very back, at least for them, with Antonio Giovinazzi having a 10-place grid penalty and Gasly starting from the pit lane. At least they're going to be starting from the penultimate row of the grid tomorrow. That's the only positive thing I have to say when it comes to Williams. But there you go. But guys, right now in the live chat, let me know, what do you think will happen in the midfield? Who is looking strong in your opinion, and who is not looking strong? Let me know in the live chat, and I will read out as many comments as I can for the next 5 minutes or so, and then we'll go on to a topic to do at the top of the grid at the moment, which is something we'll definitely be looking out for in qualifying. So yeah, go ahead, put your comments in the live chat, and as I wait for those comments, I'll just quickly have a drink and clear my throat once again. Right. Now, let's see what you guys have to say. Let me just see what is going on in the chat. Hello to Ronan Brady, by the way. In the chat, nice to see you. The F1ZH Kaiser says McLaren are doing decent right now. I'm not sure I'd say that at the moment. I want to see how they do in qualifying because they're not looking amazing. Put it that way. Right, let me find some more comments here. Thank you, Francisco, who says, hopefully my throat doesn't get sore by watching Chaz's streams. Astro Stevo says, I wish I could say Renault were looking strong. I hope they can turn things around. Well, coming into this weekend, when me and Nib did the preview for the last episode of the podcast, which you guys can still go and watch if you're going back on the channel, it was like 3 or 4 videos ago. I said I didn't think Renault would be that good here, and I thought Renault would struggle compared to how they did in Shanghai, and that's basically going into qualifying. That's basically how they're looking. They're looking quite a bit off how they were in Shanghai, and not really strong, say, in that midfield like they were in Shanghai. Jungle Brother says the midfield battle ranking for me. That's for him, but he says, for me, is Renault, Alfa, Haas, and Toro Rosso. Racing Point and McLaren will fall short. This is the great thing, though, about the midfield. I disagree on a couple of those, but this is the thing about the midfield, is that it's so close. Even teams you would expect to be faster and finish ahead of certain other teams, they don't always do that because the margins are so close in the midfield. They're so close. If you make one error that costs you a tenth or a tenth and a half, that could be the difference from starting P7 to P12 or P13. That is how close it is in the midfield, and that's exactly how we want it. It's great to see that. And I think tomorrow in the Grand Prix, I know we're not going to preview the Grand Prix right now. We'll do that tomorrow in the build-up to the Grand Prix with the race watch-along. But I think we're going to have an epic battle in the midfield. Plenty of overtaking, slipstreaming, all of that stuff. It's yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting tomorrow. Right, let me find some more comments here. Just trying to find. Jungle Brother says Ricciardo and Hülkenberg battle will be interesting. Well, you say that. I mean, in Shanghai it was, but here it looks as though it's firmly in Ricciardo's favour. Ricciardo looks to be quite a bit quicker here. Hülkenberg, he's not been bad historically at this track, but he's never been good. It's kind of a meh kind of track for him. So, yeah, not looking great for Hülkenberg compared to Ricciardo, to be honest, but there you go. Ronan Brady says, I think Ricciardo might just sneak in to the top 10. And he also says, I think Toro Rosso will be nowhere. Albon may be like 12th, but Kvyat will probably crash. I think you're underrating Toro Rosso a bit there. By the way, just to let some of you know, qualifying starts in about 32 minutes or 31 minutes time. So yeah, we are just over half an hour away. And Mr. Random Guy says, and this is a good point, should Giovinazzi be used as a tow for Kimi? This is something I didn't think about because, again, Antonio is a 10-place grid penalty. Pace-wise, it looks as though he could make it into Q2, I think, for the first time this season. So, yeah, why not? I mean, as long as it gets Kimi into the top 10, why not? Because Antonio, let's be honest, even if he gets the absolute best lap out of himself, is he going to start in the top 10 or not start in the top 10? Is he going to qualify in the top 10? Realistically, no. So, yeah, why not? Because Giovinazzi is going to start at the back anyway. So what's the point not doing that? They might as well do that. Dexter Hull asks or says, hey Chaz, what did I miss? Why are the Mercs so far off the pace? You haven't missed anything. We've just previewed all the teams. And qualifying is now 30 minutes away, so still got plenty of time. Mercedes are off the pace for two reasons. One, because they're not as quick around this track as Ferrari, but also because in practice 3, they were sandbagging a lot compared to Ferrari. There's no doubt about that. There is no way Hamilton and Bottas, I'll say this again, there's no way they're going to be over a second slower. If they are, then they have no chance of winning the Azerbaijan Grand Prix tomorrow. Absolutely no chance. So, yeah. And the final comment I'll read is from Ronan Brady, who asks, has your opinion changed on Giovinazzi? No, it hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't been too bad this weekend and has been decent, but it's one weekend. One good performance can't mean you're a good driver. Consistent good performances means you're a good driver. That's why Kimi Räikkönen is still one of the best drivers in Formula 1, because he is consistently good. So, no, it hasn't. If he consistently was around 10th, 11th in qualifying and then started to consistently get in the points, then yeah, my opinion would be different on him. But right now, no, because again, one good weekend is not going to make my opinion be any different in regards to Antonio Giovinazzi. But now, guys, I'm going to move on to Ferrari, because coming into this weekend, after what was, I think, pretty much a disaster in Shanghai, finishing 3rd and 5th and qualifying on the second row, when they were expected to be better, Ferrari have brought forward upgrades for Baku. And after practice 2 yesterday and practice 3, they do look as though they're working. I'm not going to say yet if they're absolutely working, because again, I want to see what happens in qualifying, but it does look as though it is helping the Ferrari car. And this is what Charles Leclerc had to say after practice 2 yesterday, coming into qualifying. He says, in qualifying trim, I felt comfortable, but also in this aspect, we will have to wait until tomorrow to get a clearer picture. He said this yesterday, by the way, after practice 2. And then also says, however, we still have quite a bit of work to do to get the maximum out of the car. I think what he's saying here is all the right things, especially when he says we have to wait to get a clearer picture, because he knows Mercedes could go a lot faster than they actually are so far. So, yeah, Ferrari, I think they do. And I think Ferrari know that they have the best car. It's just about maximizing it. But Ferrari have brought plenty of upgrades to their car. They have new upgrades to the barge board area, I believe. They definitely do have a new floor, and they also have a Baku style rear wing, which is only for Baku, I think. I think they might have a different one for the Spanish Grand Prix. If anyone wants to correct me on that, then go ahead and do so in the live chat or the comment section. But they have brought plenty of new upgrades. Again, barge board, floor, rear wing. And so far, it seems as though it is working for them. Whether it will or not, I don't quite know, because this is the thing. This is the frustrating thing with Ferrari, is because they have bottled it so much for the last year or so, you kind of can't trust them to get the result that they need to get or that they should get. Because how many times in the last year have we said, Ferrari are going to get pole today, and then Mercedes look out the front row, or Ferrari will or should win today, and they don't win, and they'll end up miles off winning. For example, look at Hungary last year, where they had a car that was so much faster. I know it rained in qualifying, and that did affect them, but still, going into qualifying, they looked so good, and then they blew it. Same with Brazil. Last year, I thought Brazil in qualifying, they had the best car for qualifying and they blew it, I think, with Sebastian Vettel. Also, Spa, you know, races like that. So, I really hope they can get the job done today, because I'm sick and tired of sitting here saying Ferrari are going to do well today and then they don't. And the Mercedes come back and do what they normally do, which is wipe the floor mentally with Ferrari. So I'm hoping Ferrari can actually show the speed and do what they're really supposed to do and what they have to do in this World Championship fight. Because I'll say it again, if they do not win this weekend, the Drivers and World Championship is completely over. They will not win any of those championships if they don't win this weekend. So hopefully, Ferrari, you can finally do it. Because, and this is another thing, Bahrain, they were very quick and had the best car, but I feel as though here they have a bigger gap to, say, the second fastest team. So they absolutely have to utilize that and get the best out of the car. But guys, let me know right now in the live chat, what have you thought of the Ferrari car this weekend? And do you think finally this weekend Ferrari will get the absolute best out of their car and will show you know, what they really do have and utilize the pace they do have? Let me know right now in the live chat and I'll read out your comments as usual. Just to say though, again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell for more content like this, as I will be live at 6 PM UK time for a full 1 hour review of qualifying. So make sure to come along to that and subscribe and hit the notifications bell for that coming up at 6 PM UK time. And I'll just clear my throat a minute and then I'll get to reading some of your comments when it comes to Ferrari. Right, let's take a look at what you guys have to say. By the way, hello to the 222 people watching live. Great to have you here. And if you are new, again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit like as well. Right, so let me read out some comments. By the way, the next thing I'll get to is the predictions, or my predictions for qualifying today. So don't worry, I will get to that in just a moment. Kurt Borman says, this is our weekend. Let's go, Ferrari. Dennis Boyle says, I think Leclerc will get maiden win, but Mercedes will finish in second and third, and Vettel will make some silly mistakes and get P4. Ronan Brady says, I'll probably read that out when I get to the predictions. Sebastian says, I feel like Ferrari had, or have right now, a bigger advantage than they did in Bahrain. I feel like Leclerc will win this race, but I think Hamilton could challenge Vettel. They do have a bigger advantage here than they did in Bahrain, I think. And that's why it's so important that they utilize that. It's so important. Hello to JB. Hopefully you're doing well. And yep, Haas it going. The puns have already come out strong. Let me just see some more comments to do with Ferrari here. Botty Gamer says Leclerc and Stroll with redemption for Bahrain. Astro Stevo disagrees that the season will be over if Ferrari don't win, because he says, well, that's what he says, but then he says, but will be a major setback for them and very hard for them to come back. Not absolutely over though. Things can change pretty quickly in F1. I'd love to say that, but with who they're competing against, a team that is one of the greatest teams of all time, and also, if you look at history, it's not likely, because I think there's only happened 2 times in history where, you know, the driver who's won the championship has won their first race after, say, race 4. I think it's only happened twice. Prost in '89, but he was in the best car and he was going against his teammate for the championship. And the other time was Keke Rosberg in '82. But the only reason that happened was because 1982 was the 1980s version of 2012 in terms of excitement and unpredictability. So normally, realistically, given history and given who they're racing against, I don't see how Ferrari realistically have a chance if they don't win this weekend, especially as this should be one of the best tracks of the season. So they've got to do it this weekend. They have to. Let me just find some more comments here. Hayden Cashin says Hamilton and Leclerc look the best at the moment. And Electro Knights says, if Leclerc does get pole, I hope he can build a gap in the race to second place and keep himself out of trouble. If Leclerc's going to win, he has to do that. He absolutely does. And if he can, then he should be in for a great race. But we'll get on to the race tomorrow. Let's now get into my predictions for qualifying today. These are my top 3 predictions. Make sure, guys, in the live chat to put yours in during or as I finish my predictions for qualifying today. And then in the build up to the Grand Prix, I will read out as many predictions for qualifying as I can, as we now have exactly 20 minutes to go until the start of qualifying. So let me now get into what I think will happen. So in pole position, I think will be Charles Leclerc, because the Ferrari car is the best around this track. And also Charles Leclerc looks as though he is the best driver at this track. And I don't see, unless he makes a critical error or Ferrari have reliability issues, I don't see how Charles Leclerc will not be on pole position. I can't even... Again, I can't see a possibility where that doesn't happen unless those things happen. So I think Leclerc is almost guaranteed to get pole position. Sebastian Vettel will be close. I think he will give him a run for his money, but over the course of the session, I think Leclerc will have the pace. And I think he will get pole position for tomorrow's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. In second will be Sebastian Vettel, because I think Vettel at this track, he's quite good at this track. He's not amazing at this track, but he is quite good. But also, the Ferrari car is so quick that I don't see, unless he makes a critical error or has a reliability issue, I don't see how he will not be on the front row, because again, that Ferrari car is so damn quick, especially in the final sector. And I think they are not guaranteed to get the front row, but they have a very good chance at doing so. And I think they will get the front row, Leclerc ahead of Vettel. And then in third will be Lewis Hamilton. Now, Lewis Hamilton, I don't think will be that far off Sebastian Vettel in second. Maybe a tenth or two. But because the Ferrari car just looks so good here, I don't see Hamilton getting onto the front row. And yeah, I think third is where you would expect him to be, given the pace of the respective cars so far this weekend. And then after that, I'm going to go Bottas fourth, and then Verstappen in fifth. And after that, I can't predict. Anything can happen in that midfield battle. But those are my predictions for qualifying. Let me know right now, guys, in the live chat, what do you think is going to happen? Give me your top 3 or top 5 or top 10. Give me it right now in the live chat, and I'll read out as many as I can going into qualifying, as we're just over 15 minutes away for the start of qualifying at round 4 in Baku for the 2019 Formula 1 season. So go ahead and put your predictions in. And whilst you do, I'm going to take a quick drink again, just to keep my throat from going sore, so it can last through, I think, what is going to be a very exciting qualifying session in Baku. So let me just hop off a minute. Right. So now let's see what you guys think is going to happen, and I'll come to the chat right now. And let me go to the top of the predictions so I can read it out in order. Right, so Super Mario says Vettel for pole, Leclerc second. JB says Leclerc pole, Vettel second, Hamilton third. Francisco says Leclerc pole, Vettel second, Bottas third. Justin says Leclerc pole, Bottas second, Hamilton third. Dexter Hall says Vettel on pole, Hamilton second, Leclerc third. Nicholas Kerban says Vettel on pole, Leclerc second, Hamilton third. Nib says Leclerc pole, Vettel second, Hamilton third. A lot of people going for a Ferrari pole position here. Let me find some more predictions here. Jay Crail, Lewis on pole, second Valtteri Bottas, and Max Verstappen in third. What else have we got? Tonka Toy Truck says Bottas on pole, Lewis second, Leclerc third. I think he's expecting Mercedes to be very, very quick in qualifying. Jungle Brothers says Leclerc pole, Hamilton second, Vettel third, Max fourth, Bottas fifth, Kimi sixth, Ricciardo seventh, Norris eighth, Gasly ninth, and Albon 10th. That is an interesting top 10, but remember, Gasly will go to the pit lane anyway, so let me know who you think would be P11 and go into the top 10, say, to start the Grand Prix. Gina says Leclerc, Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen. Francisco asks, what is your prediction for P6, aka best of the rest? I'm going to go for Danny Kvyat, because Kvyat is quite good at this track. I think a couple years ago, no, not a couple years ago, 2016, he qualified like 6th or 7th in a car that had a power unit from the year previous. So I think Kvyat is going to do well here. He normally does. So yeah, I'm going to go Kvyat for P6. I don't think Gasly will probably go into the top 10. He'll want to save his car. So there you go. Let me find. There's so many predictions. I'm trying to get to all of them. Prussia says Hamilton on pole, Leclerc second, Bottas in third. I'll say Ramesh because I can't quite pronounce your first name. Vettel, Leclerc, Lewis, he says. Astro Stevo says Leclerc on pole ahead of Bottas, Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Sebastian Vettel. There's so many. I don't know at times if I'm reading out the same one. Botty Gamer says Leclerc pole, Hamilton second, Bottas third, Verstappen fourth, Perez or Lance Stroll in P5, and Seb will Vettel it. Hayden says Hamilton pole, Leclerc second, Bottas third, Verstappen fourth, Vettel fifth. Let me find some more comments. Louis says Hamilton pole, Leclerc second, Verstappen third. Right, let me find some more, and I'll quickly go to this nice picture of the castle section. Baku does offer some great pictures that come out of the weekend. JB says Q-Bits are first to be out of Q1. Ronan Brady says I have no confidence in Vettel to deliver anymore. JR says Vettel on pole, Leclerc second, Hamilton third. P11, so Jungle Brother says P11 Hulkenberg, so he thinks Hulkenberg will start in the top 10 then. And by the way, there is, 11 minutes to go? Yeah, 11 minutes to go, guys, until the start of qualifying, so we're not too far away. Not too far away. Niwesh, have I read his? I don't think I have, so I'll read it. Vettel on pole, Hamilton second, Hamilton third. Leclerc, engine failure or hits the wall. E-Pop says Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc, Verstappen, Vettel. I'll answer your question, Ronan Brady, in a minute. He asks about Q1 eliminations and predictions for that. I'll get onto that in a moment. Vivek says Leclerc to get pole. James says Leclerc pole, Vettel second, Bottas third, Hamilton fourth, Verstappen fifth. And then says in the race it'll be a Mercedes 1-2. Josh says Williams for a 1-2 at the back. And Andrew Drury says, I hope Kvyat gets P6 so he can go into torpedo mode on the top 5 at turn 1. Yeah. I'm just going to leave that comment there. Sebastian, Leclerc, Vettel, Hamilton. I will say there's a lot of people predicting a Ferrari pole position. A lot of people. I think they are the favourites for sure, but I didn't think there'd be that many people that predict a Ferrari pole, because I thought there'd be quite a few, say, pessimistic people out there that would think, oh, you know what Mercedes are going to do? They're going to turn up and go miles faster. So nice to see that we've got a difference of opinion in the chat. And then JR also says Max 4th and Bottas 5th. Crystal Racing, great to see him. He says we're getting a Stroll podium. Sean Bartlett says Leclerc pole, Lewis 2nd, Vettel 3rd, Renault top 10. Come on, Nico and Daniel. Yeah, let's hope they can do better than they have done so far this weekend. By the way, I just want to thank Crystal Racing again, because if you saw, and I think you guys have seen my video about Fernando Alonso, it's called How to Ruin an F1 Team with Fernando Alonso. It has been a bit controversial with some people, but I don't care. You can go and check that out. I uploaded it on Thursday. It was, 2 videos ago. I just want to, again, thank Crystal Racing for supplying me the right type of articles to do the research for the video, and he really did help out with that. So again, mate, thanks for that, and really did help that video become as big as it has been so far, and thank you guys for viewing it as much as you have. I'll move on to another picture of a Red Bull. So yeah, if you haven't, and no problem, Crystal Racing, if you haven't put your prediction in the chat, then make sure to do so in the next 8 minutes or so, and I'll read it out before qualifying starts. But there's one question I forgot to answer, and it was from Ronan Brady. What is my prediction for Q1 elimination? 2 Williamses, of course. I think Russell will beat Kubica. Sorry to say if you're a Polish fan. And then after that, I'm going to say Grosjean, because I think Grosjean has really struggled this weekend. And who else? I'm going to say McLaren. I'm going to go Lando Norris to get knocked out. That might sound surprising, but Norris hasn't looked that great this weekend. He hasn't looked that great. Sainz has looked to be at times the better driver. And who else? I don't know. It's so close in that midfield. You know what? I'll go Giovinazzi to be safe, because knowing him, he will not do the laps or the pace that he could do. By the way, hello to Eric. Great to see you, mate. And hello to Georges. That's how you pronounce it. Mr. Chris Kenny 1 says Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel. Indrajit Singh says Bottas pole. Dan Smith says Leclerc, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen. Nick, by the way, we haven't started qualifying yet. Qualifying gets underway in about 6.5 minutes time, I think. Worst 719 says Leclerc pole, Vettel 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Bottas 4th, and Verstappen in 5th. I will soon boot up my running order, which will keep you guys updated as to what is going on. And if you are new to the watch along, just to say now, what I do is a radio commentary, and I supply pictures on the screen of what's going on, and I have a running order, so you guys know the order that is out on track in terms of who is in what position at what time. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know that. I'll add a different picture to the stream in a moment. But yeah, keep your predictions coming in, because we've only got 5 minutes left until qualifying. So if you haven't put your predictions in yet, make sure to do so in the next 5 minutes, because we haven't got long now until the start of qualifying. So make sure you go ahead and do so. And also, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more content coming up this weekend to do with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend. I will be live at 6 p.m. UK time for a full 1 hour review of qualifying. And then tomorrow I'll be live at 12:10 p.m. UK time for the race watch along with Nib, by the way. We'll be live until, I don't know, 3:30, 3:45-ish. And then I'll be live again at 6 p.m. UK time for the race review. So don't forget to subscribe for that. You can either do so on the bottom right of the screen or go to my homepage, click subscribe and hit the notifications bell. And also don't forget to hit the like button to help me out. And also, after, make sure to comment down below what you thought of qualifying, because of course if you're watching this after the stream is finished, you know what has happened, as the F1 intro is now starting to play. I am about to actually add a new picture to the stream, so if you're wondering why I'm not reading out the chat, that's why. I'm just going to add this picture of the man who I believe is the absolute favourite for pole position. So let me just get him up on screen, the young Monegasque driver. And here you go. There he is. Surely he is the favourite for pole position. Surely. If he doesn't get pole, I'd be very surprised. That's how good he has been this weekend. So looking good for him, looking good for Ferrari. But can they do it when it all matters in qualifying? They were looking good going into qualifying in China. They bottled it and bottled the weekend. And their pace was not that good. So they still have plenty of work to do to keep the pace they have and the pace advantage that they do have over Mercedes. Let me find some more comments here. Komplawi, I think it is, says, let me just find it. There's so many comments, it's scrolling up too fast. It says Leclerc, pole, Hamilton second, Vettel third. Who else do we have here? Nicholas Kerban saying, come on, Ferrari. Sebastian says that Toto Wolff has just said that Mercedes will not challenge for pole because, but they will be better in race condition. I agree. I think Mercedes will be closer in the race, but I don't think they will be the fastest team in the race. By the way, if you're watching the qualifying right now, you'll see there the tyre performance difference, and that is vital for tomorrow's Grand Prix when it comes to race strategy, because the soft tyre is so much faster than the medium tyre that you can't afford to qualify on the medium and hope to go through on the medium tyres. So you will see Ferrari, Mercedes and Max Verstappen in the Red Bull go through on the soft tyre, because the time difference is so big. So big. But I'll just wait a couple more minutes, and then, by the way, hello to Max Claydon. Great to see you, mate. I'll just wait one more minute, and then I'll boot up the running order, because we are still 2 minutes away from the start of qualifying. By the way, again, I really shouldn't have to say this, but there are some people out there that aren't quite as smart as others. Let's just say that. I obviously cannot show the qualifying session because my channel would get copyrighted to hell. It's an obvious thing. I don't think I have to say it too much, but that's why I can't show qualifying. So there you go. Jungle Brother, that's a good comment. He says, I'm predicting Karim Chandhok will get more airtime than Ted Kravitz. Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame. But at least Ted is actually on the team and, you know, doing his thing rather than not. So, yeah. But I'll now get this order going. Don't worry, it's not Q3. Let me just change that quick. There you go. Q1. So Q1 is about to get underway. And there you go. By the way, this is the order of practice 2. I haven't actually changed it since. So this is only the order of practice 2. This isn't the current absolute live order. I will, change it once the order does change around. What I tend to do is I change this about twice a qualifying session. So I'll change it twice in Q1, twice in Q2, and twice in Q3. So it won't be absolutely live, but you have to remember I'm doing everything by myself here, so it's a bit hard to be absolutely on the button all the time when I'm having to commentate and watch what's going on. But qualifying is it underway? No, not underway yet. No, there you go. And here comes a Williams. I'm going to assume it is George Russell, and indeed it is because of what happened in practice 1. So yeah, here comes Russell on track. And he goes through turn 2 and goes now to the run turn 3. Grosjean is also out on track. He does need some confidence, does that boy, because he's been really off it this weekend. Really off it. Sainz is now on track. So is Norris, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, Danny Kvyat. Here comes Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, and the two Mercedes cars are on track. So is Charles Leclerc. So everyone out there to get an early run in. I think they're doing that in case we have red flags and stuff like that, because that is a big risk. That is a big risk to take. Just to sit in the pits whilst there's red flags and all that stuff and miss out on getting a good lap in. Right, so F1 now is on the outlap, except for the 2 Red Bull drivers, Daniel Ricciardo, Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll. Stroll, as I say that, has just come out onto the track. And who will be the first to do a lap? It'll be the Williams of Russell, and then I think it'll be the McLaren of Carlos Sainz, I think, or Lando Norris. I think. But I know the Ferrari and the Mercedes cars are in the mid-pack at the minute. But let me just add a different picture on the screen as Carlos Sainz now starts his first flying lap in qualifying. Let me just get this picture up of the lovely Baku. It's a great place for racing, you have to say. Great place for racing, and I think we would miss it if it went off the calendar. There you go. That's the scene in Baku. Very sunny, but the temperature has gone down, as it is like 5 o'clock in the afternoon/evening in Baku. Very dirty there on the exit of turn 1. Here comes Carlos Sainz through turn 2. He started his lap now. Opens the DRS down to turn 3. Turn 3, very hard not to lock up your inside front tyre. Let's see if he does that. No, he doesn't. That's looking good for Carlos Sainz so far. Also, Carlos Sainz is also very good at this track. Finished P5 last year. I think he finished in P6 in 2017 as well. So Carlos Sainz is a very good driver at this track, as he does a 36.7 for the first sector. As now we have everyone on track except for the 2 Red Bull drivers. And Carlos Sainz now comes through the castle section. So difficult, especially with a low sun in your eyes as you drive up the hill. And now is running down through these little kinks on the straight down to turn 15. Another difficult corner when it comes to locking up a tyre. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. Don't know who that's for. I assume someone's gone off at either turn 2 or 3. And Sainz now comes through the final 2 S's onto the pit straight, and he will now set his first lap time in qualifying. Let's see what it is. George Russell goes fastest on a 1:47.6. Now Grosjean goes fastest on a 1:45.4. Carlos Sainz, though, way faster on a 1:44.1. Norris goes faster by about 0.04 of a second. Magnussen goes 0.6 faster. Giovinazzi now goes second. Valtteri Bottas is about to complete a lap as Raikkonen now goes fastest on a 43.4. Kvyat goes third. Bottas 9 tenths faster on a 42.4. That's a bit better for Mercedes. Here comes Charles Leclerc though. DRS wide open and he will go fastest. No, he goes second. Second for Charles Leclerc. Must have been a mistake. Let's hope so. We've also... And here is what the yellow flag is for Lewis Hamilton. Lock the inside front to turn 3. Just like I said, it's so easy to do down at that corner. He's done it and gone down the escape road. This is Lance Stroll. Does he hit the wall? Oh, yes, he does. They're going to have to check that car when he comes back in. Because there might be quite a bit of, well, not quite a bit of damage, but there might be some to that rear right tyre. As Daniel Ricciardo now about to complete a lap. Looks as though he's probably going to go into P7 or P8 with this lap. And here he comes onto the pit straight. And now on the run down the pit straight. Where will he go? Opens the DRS right now and goes into such a long run down to the finish line. He goes, yeah, P7, ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi by about a tenth of a second. Another yellow flag at Sector 1. Who is that for? Who is that for? I don't know. Because they're not showing us. But Sebastian Vettel has done the fastest first sector out of anyone. And now comes through the castle. Ferrari car looks absolutely fine. I wouldn't say... the Ferrari car is on rails, but it definitely does look like the best car out there. As now, he comes up to turn 15 and takes it absolutely fine. Slight oversteer on exit, but that's all good. And he's only half a tenth faster in the middle sector. I think that shows that Ferrari are still giving away a bit in the slower corners where they were struggling in Shanghai. And Vettel, I think, will definitely go fastest. One, because the final sector suits Ferrari, but also because he has a slipstream down to turn 1. He's took that slipstream and will go fastest, I think. Yep, but only by 0.08 of a second. Not too big of a gap. There, here comes Lewis Hamilton, and he goes in 6th place. Only 6th for Lewis Hamilton, a 43.4. Even slower than Kimi Raikkonen. And there is, I believe, the rear right of Lance Stroll in the Racing Point. Yes, it is. I don't know if it is damaged, but there you go. But let me quickly put this picture on the screen. I'll update the running order, by the way, guys, in just a moment. I'll do it in just a moment because not everyone has completed a lap, as Hulkenberg was the person who caused the second yellow flag going down the escape road at turn 3. So that's what happened there. Let me just, if I can put this on screen, there you go. And I'll just do that. There you go. That was when George Russell came out onto the track. Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly are on an out lap. Leclerc's on another lap. Kvyat's gone P4. Bottas has just gone fastest. Charles Leclerc, though, is about to go even faster than that. Leclerc, a 41.4, 6 tenths of a second faster than Bottas. That's a great lap by Charles. Albon is only 14th at the moment. And where does he go? P5, great lap. Lewis Hamilton, by the way, is only in P12 at the moment. And is only, well, he's 2 seconds clear of the drop zone, but that's because Russell is 16th. And the 2 Red Bulls have not completed a lap time. By the way, talking to Lewis Hamilton, this is why he's been really so slow. He's not getting used to this Baku track so far. This is him down the escape road at turn number 3. So there you go. But once Hulkenberg, Verstappen and Gasly complete a proper lap time, as Verstappen just goes up to P11, I will then update the order as... Ricciardo got very lucky there. could have got into the wall at turn 15, locked up the outside front very hard. But got away with it. And Gasly has gone up to 6th. Ricciardo's gone up to 14th. Hamilton's only 15th in the Mercedes. He's got to improve that. But I'll just quickly do the order. So Leclerc is fastest from Bottas. Then Vettel. Giovinazzi 4th in the Alfa Romeo. Finally, Antonio is showing the speed that some felt he had. And then you got Alex Albon in 5th, still ahead of Gasly. That's a bit embarrassing for Gasly, to be honest, in 6th. But saying that, Max Verstappen is in P12. Kvyat is in P7. P8 is Kimi Räikkönen. And then P9 is Kevin Magnussen, as Sebastian Vettel might as well give up on this lap because he's not going to go, I think, any higher with his position. Talking about drivers about to go higher though, Lewis Hamilton is about, I think, to go 3rd. As Vettel comes to the line and, yep, stays 3rd, didn't improve his lap time. Here comes Hamilton. And yep, does go 3rd. So let me now update that as we're now 7 minutes away from the end of Q1. The Hamilton is in 3rd place from Vettel in 4th. Giovinazzi is in 5th. Very impressive for the Italian. Albon 6th. And then Gasly is in 7th with Danny Kvyat in 8th. And then I believe, yeah, Kimi Räikkönen is P9. 10th is Kevin Magnussen. So the Ferrari powered cars are starting to show how much power, I guess you could say, that they do have. Perez is 11th on an outlap. 12th is Carlos Sainz on an outlap. 13th, Max Verstappen. He's got to improve that. 14th, Norris, as I was saying, going into qualifying, Norris hasn't looked that great. Leclerc just did a lap and did not improve. Ricciardo is 15th. Grosjean is 16th. And then you've got Stroll in P17. P18 is, I think, George Russell. Then it's Kubica. Then it is Nico Hülkenberg. So the order running on the bottom of your screen is the current live running order from Q1 in Baku with about, 5.5 minutes to go? Yeah, about 5.5 minutes to go until the end of Q1. And the people at risk of getting knocked out are Verstappen, Norris, Ricciardo, obviously Grosjean, Stroll, and Hülkenberg, who is at the back at the moment. Got plenty of people on an outlap. So far, though, Pierre Gasly's on a flying lap. He's faster than Leclerc after the first 2 sectors. And is going to get a pretty nice slipstream down to turn 1. So Pierre Gasly might go very, very quick with this lap. Let's see. Slipstream, DRS, this will help a lot. And where does he go? He does go fastest. Pierre Gasly goes fastest in the Red Bull. That's incredible. That's a great, great lap. By the way, guys, and just so you guys know, there is 4.5 minutes to go. There are so many people on an outlap that I'm not going to update the order right now because it's going to change around massively before the end of Q1. So we'll see what everyone's final laps are, and then I'll update it as to what it actually is. But yeah, we have 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go in Q1. Pierre Gasly is fastest in the Red Bull. I will say slipstream helped a lot, as Hülkenberg is now on a lap. This was Daniel Ricciardo down to turn 15, getting lucky with his lockup. And lucky not to go into the wall, straight down the escape road, I think, for Daniel Ricciardo. But Hulkenberg has just gone past turn 15 and is now turn 16 and now enters the final sector, which is about sheer power, as Lewis Hamilton has gone up to third with 3.5 minutes to go in qualifying one. Hulkenberg now on the pit straight. Lance Stroll is doing enough at the moment to get himself into Q2, but only just. Here comes Hulkenberg to put his teammate, I think, in the drop zone. Does he? No, he doesn't. Only 16th and about half a second off his teammate. Renault are so slow. Here comes Lance Stroll. He'll get into Q2. Yes, he does. 14th, half a second faster than Ricciardo. Here comes Romain Grosjean. And he's in the drop zone in 18th at the moment. He's 17th. We do have 3 minutes to go though, so he can improve. Here comes Perez, goes 6th. And now Carlos Sainz goes 4th. The track is ramping up so quickly. K-Mag 8th. Giovinazzi now goes to 7th. And here comes Lando Norris. P9 for the McLaren driver. Here comes Russell. 19th. Raikkonen goes P7. Still Ricciardo, Grosjean, Hulkenberg in the drop zone. Kubica stays last. That's quite embarrassing for Kubica. Albon 9th. Kvyat now goes 11th. Not the greatest lap, but that might be enough. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go until the end of Q1. And I think it will change around again massively, because I think all of these drivers are going to give it one final push to get into Q2. As Max Verstappen, only 14th right now, has to make sure he doesn't make a mistake, because he could end up getting knocked out and start at the back with his teammate. Here comes Verstappen, turn 15, or turn 16 rather, does the fastest middle sector. The Red Bull car is really working well in qualifying in Baku. He comes through the S's, 17, 18. And now, run to the line. Where can he go? Can he go faster than his teammate? And go fastest of all in qualifying. In qualifying 1. He goes 4th. 0.4 of a second off, but Gasly did have a slipstream. Let's remember that on his fastest lap. Ricciardo is on an outlap. So Daniel Ricciardo could get out of the drop zone for sure. But you have to say, Renault, if they do get through, they're not going to go through flying colours, because they're half a second off Stroll, who's the driver they need to beat to get out of the drop zone. Here comes Ricciardo down to turn 1. This is his final attempt in Q1. And comes into turn 2 now. Can Daniel Ricciardo get out of the drop zone? I'm going to be honest, I don't think his chances are that good. As he now comes to turn 3, very difficult corner. Has to make sure he doesn't lock up. He does not. And he's going to have to produce a great lap, because that Renault... Oh, I don't know if he touched the wall there at the exit of turn 4, but that didn't look good. He is, though, 3.5 tenths up on Stroll, but he is giving it everything he has. As he now comes up. Or not yet, but is about to come up to the castle section, which at this time of the day with a low sun is very, very difficult. Here he comes. The car jinking left, right, into the left-hander. Now, turn 13, which is basically a kink on a straight. Then another kink. Then down into turn 15. Don't lock up, Daniel. He does not. And how much faster through the middle sector is he? He's half a second up. So he can do it. The track is ramping up a lot in terms of grip. Is Hulkenberg going for a lap? Yes, he is. Will he get out the drop zone? No. Hulkenberg's out in 16th. Stroll is finished up in 15th. Grosjean goes up to 16th. Williams crashed at the castle section. That won't deny Ricciardo, though. Because red flag, and Ricciardo goes 15th. So what's going to happen there? I think Ricciardo's lap's going to get took away because he set his time 1 or 2 seconds after the red flag came out. And that looks a bad crash. I hope Robert's okay, but that's a bad crash. And that's going to delay the start of Q2. Ricciardo has gone up to 15th, but I think Ricciardo might get dropped back down yet because the red flag came out before he completed that lap. And you cannot be on a flying lap or go as fast as you do on a flying lap if there is a red flag. So we have to wait. Here's a replay though of Robert Kubica. I'm going to assume he's locked up and gone straight on. Oh, that's what's happened. He's clipped the inside wall with his left front and gone straight on. And I'm going to assume that broke the left front suspension. So then he couldn't turn in to the corner. That's a shame, but that's Baku. Very hard not to make a mistake. Another replay. And yet broke the left front suspension and went straight on. So there you go. But I want to see with Ricciardo whether he will stay in P15, because from what I saw, I swear to God, I saw Ricciardo go 15th literally a second or two after the red flag came out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But what I can say is Q1 is now over, and for now, it is Lance Stroll, Romain Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg, George Russell, and Robert Kubica who have been knocked out in Q1. So I'll quickly do the order, the finishing order for Q1, and then we'll get ready for Q2, which will be delayed a bit because Robert Kubica's car needs to be cleared away. Hopefully that tow truck doesn't hit a bridge again. But yeah, so Gasly was fastest from Leclerc second, Hamilton third, Verstappen fourth, Carlos Sainz finished up in P5, good for him. Bottas P6, Vettel only P7, but I think that's down to track evolution for other people. 8th, Kimi Raikkonen, and then 9th, Antonio Giovinazzi. That's more like it from Antonio. It's a shame that he has the penalty of 10 places on the grid for a new control electronics. Alexander Albon is in P10. 11th is Perez. 12th is Kvyat. So Toro Rosso not that quick at the end of Q1, but at least they've got through. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Norris P13. Magnussen in P14. Ricciardo 15th for now. I still think the red flag came out before he completed his lap, so there might be something about that. We'll see. Grosjean 17th and Hülkenberg in 18th. And then 19th is Russell. I have to say, even though I hope, and he is, Robert Kubica, all fine. Bit embarrassing to be out qualified by George Russell, who missed basically the entirety of Friday. And also, Russell's not feeling that well because he had to cancel his media duties on Thursday because he was feeling unwell. So Russell's not exactly on his absolute A game. So yeah, bit embarrassing for Kubica, but there you go. But that's the end of Q1, and Q2 will get underway very, very shortly. There's Hülkenberg on the screen. I have to say, very, very disappointing for Renault, and I don't see how Renault can possibly get into the top 10. They look miles behind the top 10 when it comes to Robert Kubica's crash. They're still trying to get the car out the way. They're going to have to repair that barrier as well, so it might be waiting quite a bit here, guys. But here is that accident. Let me just play around with this to get it in the right size and everything. So, get all that's, hold on, not that. Get this stuff out the way. Hold on a minute. Just trying to get this stuff. So you can see there, that's Kubica in the wall. He's okay. He'll live to fight another day, but that has damaged the barrier, and the red flag came out for the right reason. And I think we are going to have a delayed start to Q2, probably by 5 to 10 minutes, because they do have to repair the barrier, because the barrier is now not looking too great, and they've got to make sure it's all safe and all. But talking of people that have been knocked out, let me now show on the screen the Renault of Nico Hülkenberg, who, very disappointing. This weekend, Nico has been miles off the pace, and there you can see him there. This was on his run down to the pit straight on his final run, and yeah, deserves to go out. Just hasn't had the pace this weekend. But yeah, there you go. But yeah, Q2 will get underway shortly. Once we have confirmation when it will get underway, I will change the Q1 bit in the top left to Q2. By the way, great to see over 700 people watching live. Great to have you all along. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, as I will do this tomorrow for the race watch along, and I do this every race weekend. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. But to keep everyone entertained, I'll read out some comments from the live chat to see what you guys have to say. Nib says Leclerc was first in Q1. I don't think so. I think Gasly finished fastest. Let me just rewind. But I'm pretty sure Pierre Gasly finished fastest in Q1. Yeah, he did. Pierre Gasly finished in first, and Leclerc was in second. Gilles says, happy that I removed Hulk out of my fantasy team. Yep, for your sake, that was very good. James Evans says it says 136 for me. Yeah, it can sometimes be a bit delayed, so don't worry. I've got the proper lives, people watching here in my settings, so don't worry. Right, let me read out some more comments. Thomas Hill says, now let's keep our fingers crossed the recovery vehicle doesn't hit a bridge. Absolutely. Let's not have that stuff again, because then qualifying 2 won't get underway for another 3 hours. Right. Let me find some more comments here. Mr. Random Guy asks, why was Grosjean and Hülkenberg so far away from their teammates? Well, basically, if you've watched the weekend so far, they've just been miles off their teammates. They cannot find a balance with their car around this track. They're struggling. I mean, look at Grosjean in practice too. Grosjean, I think, went off twice and has never gone well at Baku. Hülkenberg, pace-wise, hasn't always been too bad, but he does tend to have a lot of crashes at Baku, does Hülkenberg. 2016, he spun in qualifying. 2017, crashed in the race when he had a big chance of a podium, and then last year when in P5 I think he crashed again. So, and by the way, Chris, Kubica has crashed, and Kubica has caused the red flag. So that's who's crashed out, Robert Kubica, and that's why the red flag came out at the end of Q1, and that's why the start of Q2 has been delayed by, well, so far been delayed by, I think, nearly 5 minutes or so. I can't say that. That's difficult to say. Gasly got slipstream is what that person said. Yeah, that's why Gasly finished fastest, because he got a great slipstream, I think, from Lance Stroll. We got another comment from I'm not going to pronounce your name because it's too difficult for me. I'm just being honest. Leclerc proving to be a championship contender if Ferrari gives him more attention. This is the thing. If Leclerc is ahead of Vettel. I don't think Ferrari are going to order him to move out the way. He just has to beat Vettel. That's all he's got to do. Get ahead as much as he can and stay ahead in a dominant fashion. Render Cube makes a great point. Anyone can crash on this track. Yes, they can. It's Baku. It's a chaotic track, as all the marshals there are trying to clear up and repair the barrier. The barrier is not too badly damaged, but it does need a bit of, say, I don't know, sticky tape or something like that to just make sure the Pirelli stickering and everything like that, and everything's stuck in the barrier. But I'll just quickly, guys, have a drinks break, only for like 3 or 4 seconds, and then I'll come back. So just hold on a minute. Right, so yeah, keep your comments coming, and I'll read out as many as I can before the start of Q2, which has been delayed because of Robert Kubica crashing at the castle section. The running order you're seeing along the bottom of your screen is the final finishing order of Q1. Not qualifying, only Q1. So knocked out Lance Stroll, Romain Grosjean, Nico Hülkenberg, the Williams of George Russell, and Robert Kubica, who of course crashed on his final attempt, as they're now repairing the barrier, I believe, down at the castle section. No word as of yet as to when we're going to get going again, but I wouldn't have thought it'd be too long, because it doesn't look like it's too badly damaged to me. So he won't be too long, I don't think. But yeah, in the chat, keep your comments coming, and I'll read out as many as I can. Terminus Plays says, Azerbaijan's free practice session have been more interesting than the whole of China 2 weeks ago. Yeah, practice 2 yesterday, which I did a watch along for. You can check out in the description down below. Yeah, it was very exciting compared to the Grand Prix in Shanghai. I'll be honest, you guys may disagree, but this is my opinion. I didn't think the race 2 weeks ago in China was that bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as people thought. And I think the reason that is 2 reasons. One, it was the 1000th Grand Prix and people were expecting a masterclass. And when you expect a masterclass, you're not going to get one. And also, the previous race before China was Bahrain. And Bahrain, a month ago, was one of the best races I have seen in the V6 Turbo era. It was fantastic from start to finish. That's why China just didn't live up to some people's expectations, because we were kind of led on by previous events and also the glamour, surrounding the Grand Prix. It was never going to deliver as much as people were hoping for. By the way, hello to Sean in the chat. I just saw a comment there. Interesting one. Rossi says, they said at least a 15-minute delay. They're now carrying the Williams car back. Please don't hit the bridge. And they don't, because they haven't got the crane on it. So they don't hit the bridge, thank God. That was so embarrassing yesterday. Hello to Petrolhead also. And hello also to Worthless Eagle. Great to see you all here. We have 730 people watching live. Great to see every single one of you here. Great to have you along, have you involved as always. And again, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the like button. Delphine, I think it is, sorry if I mispronounced that, says, hey guys, just got in. Who got knocked out in Q1 besides the Williams boys? Well, as you said, the Williamses and Stroll, Grosjean and Nico Hülkenberg. So yeah, those are the people knocked out. And well, you have to say, I don't think Grosjean, I don't think him getting knocked out was because of the car being bad. I think it's just he has been bad this weekend. With Hulkenberg, though, even though he hasn't been that great this weekend compared to his teammate, that Renault car's not doing well at all. It's been terrible, the Renault this weekend. I think in practice 2 yesterday, they were 16th and 18th. And they were only 15th and 18th in qualifying 1 there. So they're not doing well at all. Haven't had a car in the top 10 so far this weekend. Yeah, disappointing. Here's another shot of the tow truck taking away the Williams car. That's not the absolute live scenes right now. The Williams car's already back in the pit lane, I believe. But they are still repairing the barrier, and that's why Q1 has finished, but that's the reason Q2 has not got underway yet. So we are still waiting for the start of Q2. Hopefully, we aren't too far away. We should hear something, I would imagine, in the next 5 minutes as to when qualifying 2 will get underway. And I can't wait for Q2 because there's at least 10 drivers that could get knocked out. Even a Max Verstappen if he doesn't get the lap right, because the Red Bull car's not exactly amazingly quick. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting qualifying 2, which hopefully should get underway pretty soon. Hello to Armand from the Philippines. Great to see you. Jungle Brother says, and it is true, Grosjean isn't great on street circuits, and apparently F1 TV is having issues again. Not surprised. I mean, I think FOM had to get rid of their mobile app or something like that because it was so glitchy and all over the place. So it's not a big surprise, to be honest. I think, but the reason that is because they've got so many cameras, so much equipment, and you know they're shooting so many cars and all that stuff. It's like they're almost filming too much. Something's bound to go wrong with the amount of equipment they carry, you know, to each Grand Prix, and to try and take it to every Grand Prix and expect it to work every time is not exactly it's not exactly a surprise. Hello to Cole of the Boom Body. That's an interesting name. By the way, I did see that guy spoiling the new Avengers film. I've already had it spoiled to me through Discord. That person knows who he is. So yeah, I've already had the film spoiled to me. Please don't spoil the film, guys, because I know plenty of you either haven't seen it or, well, if you haven't seen it, I haven't seen it yet, but I think we're all desperate to see it. But anyway, enough of that. When is Q2 getting underway? That's what we need to know, and we don't know that yet. We haven't had a sign to say when qualifying 2 will get underway. As soon as we know, guys, then we'll start preparing for it. And I'll update the top left of the screen as to, you know, what qualifying session exactly it is. Eugene Kelly asks, and this is an interesting topic, what do you think of George Russell's potential? I think he could be a world champion. I think he honestly could. He was so good in F2. He dominated basically the Formula 2 season. But he's in that Williams, and he can't do anything. He cannot do anything with that car. The only way he will finish in the points is if there are retirements. That's the only way. Even if a car breaks their front wing, goes to the back, he'll still get beat by that car because the Williams is always a lap behind everyone else at the end of a Grand Prix. So, you know what I mean? It's a shame for him because he just cannot do anything with that car. I would love it if he was in a Racing Point, because if he was in that Racing Point against, say, Sergio Perez, then we would get a good base for how good he is. Because if he went into Racing Point and destroyed Perez, I don't think he would, because I think Perez is better than some people give him credit for. But if he did destroy Perez, then I think that would set him up for a possible seat at a top team, probably the Mercedes team, if Bottas or Hamilton goes quite soon. But you know what I mean? He's in the Williams. He can't do anything. And I have to say, for next year, he has to try and get into another car because he cannot waste his career away in that car. He can't. I don't see Williams improving. I don't think Williams are going to ever be a strong team again. I think they'll be out of business in the next 5 years or so. So he has to get into not necessarily a front-running car or a front-running car in the midfield battle. Just a car that can go for points, like the Racing Point, or, you know, a car pace-wise similar to the Toro Rosso. He won't go into the Toro Rosso, but you know what I mean. Pace-wise, he needs to get into a car like that because he can't do anything with that heap of crap that he's driving at the moment. Oakley asks, who is the best driver on the grid? In my opinion, it is Lewis Hamilton, followed up by Max Verstappen. And then for third, I'm currently undecided between Vettel and Leclerc. So, yeah, there you go. That's who my best driver in the current grid is. Who do you think will win the race tomorrow? Asks Junior Enin Sampson. It should be a Ferrari, and it should be Charles Leclerc. But, you know, with Baku and how chaotic it is, you never know. It could be Bottas could win from P4 on the grid if that's where I think he will start. Or maybe a Red Bull if we have tons of chaos. You never know. You really do never know. Let me find some more comments here. Still no word on when Q2 is going to start. No word at all. If anyone finds out before I do, put in the live chat what or when Q2 is going to start, because I'm watching Sky Sports F1 right now and they're not telling us at all when Q2 is getting underway. And this is very frustrating because I really want to get into Q2 because there's so many cars in there that could really have a great, you know, qualifying battle. But right now we're just sat waiting around for Q2 to get underway, and it doesn't look like it's getting underway anytime soon, which is massively frustrating. I mean, Ted Kravitz is not even in the pit lane right now. He's in the back of the paddock. So to me, that says that we're not getting underway that soon. So yeah, keep your comments coming, guys, as we wait for the restart of Q2. Oakley says that BBC said 15-minute delay and that was at past. Right, so 3 more minutes. Let's hope that's the case, and it should be, because the barrier wasn't, you know, they didn't. Robert Kubica did not destroy it. He hit it hard, but he didn't destroy it. Junior also asks, who do you think will take pole? Charles Leclerc is my favourite for pole, from Vettel second, Hamilton third. That's what I'm going for my top 3. If you are new to the stream, new to the channel, then yeah, put your predictions in the chat. Let me know your predictions right now, and I'll try to read out as many as I can. Nib says, it makes a great point. They don't know how long it will take. That's why they are saying at least 15 minutes. Okay. Now, there you go. Right, so Q2 will start at 17:50 local time. So 7 minutes time. Right, so 7 minutes, guys, until the start of Q2. So get ready. All 877 of you. Again, great to see you all here. Thanks for coming along and being a part of the stream. And again, don't forget to not only subscribe, but very importantly, hit the notifications bell, because I will be live, probably now not at 6 PM UK time because of the delaying between Q1 and Q2, but I will be live around 6 to 6:15 PM UK time, but for a full 1 hour review of qualifying. So make sure to come along to that. Let me read out some more predictions. So yeah, whilst we wait, if any of you guys who haven't made your predictions in the chat yet, go ahead and do so, and I'll read out as many as I can to pass the time away, pass the next 6 minutes away. Currambine NC President says Leclerc, Bottas, Vettel. Worthless Eagle says Leclerc, Hamilton, Max. Theo says Leclerc, Vettel, Hamilton. Nicholas Kerban says Vettel for the week. Max Claydon says Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen. Steve Google says Leclerc, Vettel, Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton. Ethan says Leclerc, Hamilton, Kvyat. Thomas Hill says could be an Alfa Romeo on the podium. I hope we could, do get a midfield car on the podium, and I think it isn't as crazy thing to say as people might think. Junior says I hope Lewis gets pole as a Lewis fan. Kurt Borman, Vettel, Leclerc, Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas. Oakley, Leclerc, Hamilton, Vettel. Brandon, Leclerc, Hamilton, Vettel. James Evans, Vettel, Leclerc, Bottas, Verstappen, Hamilton. Inc. TNTV, Vettel, not Vettel, Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc. Thomas Hill says Leclerc, Raikkonen, Bottas. Petrolhead says Alonso, Massa, and Maldonado. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. 5 more minutes until the start of Q2, so we will be underway shortly. So yeah, keep your comments coming, as I'm going to see quickly if I can put a new picture on the screen. Yeah, I can. So just give me a minute. I'll come back to your comments. Just want to put a new picture on the screen for you guys. And it is of a driver that has, well, been kind of a victim of the car he's driving. Nico Hülkenberg. The Renault just doesn't have any speed, and I don't see how Daniel Ricciardo can get into Q2. Oh, get into Q3, sorry. I don't think the Renault is anywhere near quick enough to do so. But yeah, keep your comments coming. Tripod says Hamilton on pole. Sophine, Leclerc, Hamilton, Vettel. Alan says Renault to DNF. Jason says Albon, Norris, Kvyat. Who else have we got here? Just trying to... Sean says Toro Rosso 1-2. Kurt says, if Leclerc beats Vettel in this race, do you think Vettel no longer be the number one at Ferrari? I don't think Ferrari can come out and say, oh, Vettel's still our number one. I don't think he actually is, to be honest. I think it's basically not fully equal, but it's not a clear number one driver situation with Sebastian Vettel. But if Charles Leclerc, from say now until the end of the first half of the season, say, you know, Hockenheim, Hungary time, from now till then, if he really beats Vettel quite a lot, then I think they kind of have to, especially if they're still lagging behind Mercedes in the drivers and, well, not necessarily the constructors, but more so the drivers' championship. And Jason says Ferrari are pretty stubborn. Yeah, Ferrari can be sometimes a bit too long in making a decision that seems obvious to other people. There you go. Now 2 minutes until the start of Q2, so not long now. Steve Google says that Hülkenberg said that he lacks confidence. Yeah, it's pretty clear to see that he does. Aidan Miller says Leclerc to get pole from Vettel second, Verstappen third. Who else have we got? So the person just saying what happened just tuned in. The results running along the bottom of your screen are the final results of qualifying 1. And we are now about not 2 minutes, now about 1 minute away from the start of Q2. So the results running along the bottom of your screen are the final results of qualifying 1. And by the way, Steve, Google, I'll answer your question in just a moment. The people knocked out: Lance Stroll, Romain Grosjean, Nico Hulkenberg, and the two Williamses. Steve Google's question was, who will crash in the race? I think we'll have 4 or 5 people crash in the race. I don't think it'll be any of the front runners. I think one of the Toro Rossos will crash, probably Kvyat. Sorry to say, but that's just the way he is. Tonka Toy Truck says Grosjean. I'm going to have to say Grosjean. I think one of the Williamses will crash because that car lacks so much downforce. I don't see how they can do 51 laps without crashing. After that, I'm not sure, but I think 4 or 5 people will crash. We always do get crashes here. And now we are, I think, right now, are we about to get underway for qualifying 2. Yep, there you go. It's now 14:50. And for some reason they're showing the Q1 order, but we don't want to see that. We want to see the Q2 starting of that. So put that in the top left. Q2, and it's now the start of yep, here comes the green flag. Q2 is now underway. Q2 has begun. So now, who will make it into the top 10? I think Mercedes, Ferrari, and definitely one of the Red Bulls will. Maybe both of the Red Bulls, considering what happened in Q1. But after that, it's very hard to predict. You've got the 2 Toro Rossos, the 2 Alfa Romeos, the 2 McLarens, Perez. Who else in there? I think that's what pretty much it, isn't it? Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. Very, very difficult to predict who is going to get into Q2. We're a minute into Q2, 14 minutes left, as we now have Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Sainz, Bottas, Vettel, Albon, Kvyat, Norris and Magnussen all out on track. As Gasly, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi, Perez, Ricciardo are still in the pit lane. But we're about to get our first laps in Q2. Let's see who gets a good first run in. And I also want to see the tyres on the... I want to see the tyres on the front runners. So yeah, the front runners obviously are going for the soft tyres. Because if you don't know, the difference between the soft and the medium this weekend has been well over at times a second. So... yeah, you don't want to start the medium. Well, the medium would be a good tyre to start on, but to get through to the top 10, you don't want to do it on a medium compound tyre because it's going to be pretty difficult to do so. As Valtteri Bottas now gets his... is he now? Yep, here he comes. His first flying lap underway. Or no, still warming his tyres up, so he will not really do that competitive of a first flying lap. And let me just get a picture up on the screen of the scenes in Baku. That's a high angle of what's going on. And here comes Valtteri Bottas down to turn 2, turns in, car looks absolutely fine. And now comes at turn 3. Lewis Hamilton is behind him on track. Tonka Toy Truck says, and it's a great point, 16 degrees Celsius, still a very cold track. And that's why this track, especially at this time of the day, is such a hard track to get right. Because you don't have, you know, a good amount of temperature on your tyres all the time. As Hamilton goes faster than Valtteri Bottas in the first sector. As Bottas now comes up to the castle section where Robert Kubica crashed. And Bottas bumps through, gets through fine. Goes slightly wide at turn 10, I think that was. And now comes up to the run down to turn 15 through 13 and 14, which are just kinks on a mini straight. Brakes for turn 15. Car looks not great, but looks absolutely fine to me. And now comes through the final real corner on the track, and now comes through the two final S's, and now onto the pit straight. How fast is Valtteri Bottas? Is probably only running Q2 as Sainz has gone fastest on a 42.3. Here comes Bottas, and he does a 41.5. Hamilton goes second, half a tenth behind. Albon goes in P7. Leclerc's on medium tyres. That surprised me so much, and so is Sebastian Vettel, who goes 9th. That's not a good time by Sebastian Vettel. Sorry about that, but that surprised me as Max Verstappen goes fastest, ahead of the two Mercedes drivers by over a tenth of a second. Interesting. As Perez has gone up to 4th, Vettel has to go again on a set of soft tyres. There's no way that Sebastian Vettel will go into Q3 on a set of those medium tyres after that first run. Leclerc, maybe. Maybe. But Vettel, no. Here comes Daniel Ricciardo, though. Down to start-finish line. Where will he go? This is not going to be a quick lap. Yeah, P12, 2 seconds off the fastest time. That is a mile off in the Renault. Sebastian Vettel is in P11 after his, well, quite poor first run on the medium compound tyres. By the way, we have 9.5 minutes left of Q2. Here comes Antonio Giovinazzi on his first run on the soft compound tyres in Q2. He does have a 10th-place grid penalty, but he will still want to get into the top 10. And maybe if he gets a 7th or an 8th, he can start higher than where he was probably predicted to for this weekend. As he now comes through turn 4 into turn 5. By the way, Nib, you are bang on. That was a great time by Sergio Perez. Only just under 5 tenths of a second off Max Verstappen. Great time by Perez. Here comes Giovinazzi into the castle section. The Alpha looks like it's getting better as the weekend goes on, which is good to see. And he now comes through turn 12. Now into turn 13 and 14. Now down into 15. How will his middle sector look compared to the other midfield drivers? Let's see. It is not good. 2.5 seconds down. This is a terrible lap for Giovinazzi. Kimi Räikkönen is on a much quicker lap, and Kimi Räikkönen is probably going to go into, say, 6th or even 7th place. And yet Giovinazzi now lets Kimi Räikkönen use him for slipstream. And now Räikkönen, where will he go? Surely into the top 10. He goes P6 on a 42 flat. Yellow flag in the second sector. And, oh, it's a Ferrari! Ferrari in the wall! Ferrari in the wall! Who is it? Who is it? Who is in the wall? Charles Leclerc's in the wall! He's out of qualifying! What a disaster! Oh, that is heartbreak for Charles Leclerc. He's piled it into the wall at the castle section, the same spot where Robert Kubica crashed. Oh, what a disaster. What a disaster. He might get through to the top 10 still, but he will not complete qualifying. There's no way he'll get that car repaired, and they can't anyway. If your car stops on track, you are not allowed to continue. But, oh, what a disaster for Charles. What a disaster. That is... I assume he's done the same thing. He's clipped the inside corner and gone straight on, and he looks so disappointed with himself. So disappointed because and look how angry he is. He knew that he has the car to be on pole position, and he's just gone and blown it. And let's see. Oh, he's locked the left front and gone straight on. He didn't hit the wall. He just locked up. Brake too late. Nothing he could do. And now we're going to be waiting a long time for Q2 to get re-underway again. And Sebastian Vettel's lucky that he avoided that because he was right behind Leclerc. But Leclerc, oh, what a disaster. What a disaster. That, I'm tempted to say I feel sorry for him, but then again, he's made a mistake, so I can't really feel too sorry for him. That's a street track for you. You make a mistake, you're going to pay for it big time. But with 7 minutes and 41 seconds to go in Q2 with a red flag now out, I'm now going to update the order so far in Q2. So Max Verstappen, amazingly, is fastest, and you never know, he could be on the front row if he continues as speed he has. Bottas is second, Hamilton is third, Sergio Perez is in P4, and then Charles Leclerc P5, but out of qualifying. He'll be hoping that he doesn't get knocked out of the top 10, because if he doesn't, then he can start 10th on the medium compound tyre and could still, say, get a podium or something like that. But there you go. So Kimi Raikkonen is 6th in the Alpha. Danny Kvyat is P7. Carlos Sainz is P8. Norris P9. So McLaren looking good at the moment for a double Q3 appearance. That'd be something great for them. Norris 9th. 10th is Magnussen. About to see a replay again of this is Vettel after Leclerc's. Vettel. Vettel almost did the same thing. Imagine if that happened. Imagine if Ferrari had both cars get knocked out. So he's gone over the entry curb and the rear is kicked out, and he's lucky he didn't kick it out too much. And then there's a replay. Leclerc locking up, nothing he could do, straight into the barrier, simply just carrying too much speed into the castle section. That's what that is. If you carry too much speed in, you're guaranteed to hit the wall. So there you go. Albon is P11. Vettel is P12 on a set of mediums. He will go again on the soft tyres. He'll have to. There's no way he'll get into Q3 like that. And then Ricciardo is P13 for the moment. Antonio Giovinazzi is P14. And then 15th is Gasly. But I'm not sure Gasly's actually done a lap time, and I don't think he will, because he's starting from the pit lane for the Grand Prix anyway. But let me now, if I can, get a picture up of... And yep, I can, I think. Yep, here we go. Let me just get a picture up of what happened and the scene. And here's Leclerc coming back. And he looks so disappointed. Well, he better be disappointed with himself, because the car was there for him, but he just made a crucial error. And here you go. That was the scene down at the castle section. Piled into the barrier. Qualifying over. He could still start in the top 10, but he was likely to be pole position man today. And that's why he is so disappointed. So there you go. What? Oh, unbelievable scenes. The man who was favourite for pole piles into the barrier. That is an... and they're going to have to... Yeah, Q2 is going to be delayed. There's quite a lot of, I think, oil on the track. So, yeah, we're going to have a bit of again, another delay. And, well, let's just say that my review of qualifying will definitely be delayed, because qualifying, well, if it had no red flags, it should have been over by now. But we're only, what, halfway through Q2? By the way, hello to the 961 people watching live. If we can, guys, let's try and get it to 1,000. That would be awesome if we could. So let's try and do that. But if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. I do this for every race weekend, and I will be doing it tomorrow for the race as well. So don't forget to join us tomorrow for the race. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. And again, Disappointing for Leclerc, but as Joseph Hernandez says, and I want everyone on the chat right now to press F to pay your respects for Charles Leclerc. Please press F to pay your respects for Charles Leclerc. Even though he did make a mistake and it was his fault, please, yeah, press F for Charles Leclerc. But yeah, judging by the scene down at the castle section, we might be waiting another half an hour for Q2 to get underway. Might be here all day. And yeah, there's a lot. Oh, that's going to make things difficult. There's a big patch of where there's been oil and they've had to sand it over. So the castle section is now going to be a very dangerous part of the track. Very dangerous. Great to see you all pressing F. They haven't yet took the Ferrari car back. And yeah, you can see there the oil. That is going to make things difficult. That's going to make it really difficult. By the way, if anyone's wondering, you shouldn't really, but yes, this is live. But yeah, there you go. So by the way, if you're just joining us, the running order that you're seeing scrolling along the bottom of your screen, that is the live running order halfway so far into Q2. We have a red flag because Charles Leclerc has crashed at the castle section and is out of qualifying. He may make it into the top 10 because he did go P5 on a set of medium tyres, but he will not go for pole position because you cannot restart in qualifying if you stop on track. So yeah, he is out qualifying. So it is so far Max Verstappen fastest, Bottas second, Hamilton third, Perez fourth, Leclerc fifth, Raikkonen sixth, Kvyat seventh, Sainz eighth, Norris ninth, 10th Magnussen, and then in the drop zone, Alexander Albon, Sebastian Vettel. That's because he tried to get through on a set of medium tyres. He'll have to go again on a set of soft tyres. Then it's Ricciardo, Antonio Giovinazzi, and then Pierre Gasly. And then knocked down Q1, if you don't know, was Stroll, Grosjean, Hulkenberg, Russell, and Kubica. But now, we are waiting. We're waiting for this restart of Q2, but again, it might be a bit of time. Maybe not as long as it was waiting for Kubica. But that barrier's definitely been damaged again. I think that's the most crashes we've had at the castle section since we've come to Baku. That's the most crashes, because I can't remember. I think Jolyon Palmer crashed there, but it's Jolyon Palmer. I mean, you'd expect him to do that. But you know what I mean? It's not an area of the track where we've seen plenty of crashes. So yeah, it's a bit unusual, to be honest, to see that happen. There's still people pressing F in the chat. Great to see that. And now the marshals are sweeping the track, making sure it is as clean as possible. By the way, Rafale, Charles Leclerc crashed, and Charles Leclerc will not be going for pole position. That opens the door for Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel hasn't exactly been great in the last few races at getting pole position. Hasn't had a pole position since Hockenheim in 2018, and we know what happened on race day. So this opens the door for an unlikely pole. Maybe Max Verstappen can get pole position. Who knows? Who knows? And that was John Elkann in the Ferrari pits shaking his head because he knew as well Leclerc was definitely the favourite for pole position, and he has blown it, you have to say. Charles Leclerc has blown a big opportunity at getting pole for the second time in 4 races. Duke Gaming says Hamilton for pole. Lee Bryden asks how long left in Q2. Q2 is currently been red flagged, so the clock is not running down. We have exactly 7 minutes and 41 seconds to go in Q2, but we do currently have a red flag. So yeah, we're just waiting for the session to get going again. I don't think it'll be too long for the session to get going again. It won't be as long as it was waiting for Robert Kubica's car to be cleared away and all that stuff. So we shouldn't be too long. The barrier looks like it's just about okay, and the track looks like it's been cleaned up as much as it could. So yeah, we're currently waiting for Q2 to get underway. By the way, thank you to Still I Rise for $2. Saying, get you a beer, bruh. Detroit, USA checking in. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a very exciting session, and this is the great thing. So much has happened, and we still have half of Q2 to go, and then about 13 minutes of Q3 to go. So there's plenty to come yet. If you think that's it for the controversy or the crashes, don't, because we have plenty of excitement left. And I think you guys will agree that this qualifying has been more exciting than the last Grand Prix in Shanghai. Still I Rise says, you out here with worldwide influence, Chazza? Thank you. I'm just looking to see if they fix that barrier. I think they might have. We should soon see a message in regards to when the session will restart. We should see a message about that in a moment. But qualifying has been underway for what, an hour and 10 minutes, and it should have been over by now. We should right now be reacting to what's happened, and we're not, because F1 keeps crashing at the castle section. I say everyone, but it's only been 2 drivers. But the crash has been quite hefty. So yeah, still waiting to see when the session gets going. Thank you, Bobby Pinard says, have another on Houston. Thank you very much. I know you guys in the States are liking 2019 so far. And I think you, Bobby, are a new fan to Formula 1. So hopefully you are enjoying Formula 1 so far. And if you're wondering if Baku is normally this chaotic, yes, it is. It is. And yeah, we are quite close to 1,000 viewers. So if we can get that, that'd be great. We still have plenty of time left to get it, which is good. We're what, 35 viewers away, so not too far away. As the Ferrari car has now returned to the pit lane. And you know what? I might as well just do this so you guys know. Let me just do this quick so you guys know. There you go. So if you're just tuning in, we have a red flag. I will get rid of that once the red flag goes and we now have green flag racing, but we don't right now. It's a red flag. The running order running along the bottom of your screen is the current order in Q2 with 7 minutes and 41 seconds to go, but we do have a red flag as Charles Leclerc, as you can see on your screen, has piled into the barrier at the castle section, is out of qualifying, and they've now had to repair some of the track and also the barrier. As you can see there, it's a bit mangled. So, yeah, there you go. We're just waiting now for confirmation as to when we're going to get going again. All the drivers sat around waiting. There's Danny Kvyat in P7. Looking good. Kvyat, as I said, coming into qualifying, he is very good at this track. And he has proved that so far this weekend. So, yeah, we're just waiting to get going again. So, guys, make sure on the live chat to post your comments in regards to what you think is going to happen or what is happening so far in qualifying. By the way, if I can't answer your question, sorry, if I can't, but there's so many people in the comments, I can't get to absolutely Everyone. Nib says they have given an immediate 30-minute delay. By the way, Nawesh, I did see your comment, but I don't pay any attention to that. So, yeah. By the way, another donation. $4.99 there from Bobby Pinard. Says, I'm a new fan, but I've watched past races to be in the know. I'll be going to COTA this year. Well, if you are going to COTA, then hopefully you do enjoy yourself, but also you're in for a great race, because normally COTA offers up great racing. Couple people saying new picture. I'll get a new one up now. I was just about to upload it. It's an onboard of Leclerc whilst being in the barrier, so let me just put it on screen for you guys. Here you go, and I'll just play around with the size of it. So there you go, that's Leclerc and his car into the barrier. You could say it's a shame, but he made a critical mistake, and that's what happens in Formula 1, where you make a mistake at a street track. You pay for it big time. And now I'll show another picture in regards to what the Ferrari car as a whole now looks like on the way back to the pits. It's now back in the pits, but you know what I mean. Here you go. Let me just get it up. You guys. Hold on. Just give me a minute and I'll get it up. And here you go. That's the Ferrari on the back of the tow truck. And you can see there's no, even if they could be allowed to get back out, they wouldn't, because that car has way too much damage to it. I don't think they'd get back out on the track, because the front wing's off, the suspension's ripped apart, so is the left front suspension. There's no way to get back out on track anyway. So yeah, there you go. And we've just ticked over to 1,000 viewers. Guys, thank you so much. I'm just seeing now it says 1,001. I don't know if it will stay like that, but 1,001. Guys, that is the first ever time that I've had a channel that I've hit 1,000 viewers. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it so much. And again, if you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, because I do this every race weekend. This is not a one-off thing. This is every race weekend. We do qualifying watch-alongs, race watch-alongs, even practice watch-alongs, and reviews of qualifying and the race as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. And again, thank you guys so much. It now has gone up to 1,027. Cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you so much. And thank you guys in the live chat who are saying congratulations. I can't believe I never would have thought in my wildest dreams I would have 1,000 people watching a live stream of me. I can't even believe that is possible. Thank you guys so much. But anyway, enough of the emotional stuff. And now let's get our mindset back into, Q2. We still have a red flag, by the way. And we still have 7 minutes and 41 seconds to go. No word on when Q2 will get back underway. Hopefully very soon, but we don't know. They're doing something down there at the castle section. I think they're repairing the barrier. So yeah, we're just waiting now for qualifying 2 to get underway. Again, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys very much. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, we're still red flagged. This is, well, frustrating. I mean, we've been, red flagged for about 20 minutes now. Here's race control, and the session will restart at 18:24 local time. So that's 6 minutes. Right, Q2 underway in 6 minutes time, guys. So wait around, because Q2 is not too far away. As we're seeing replays of Charles Leclerc piling into the barrier at the castle section. And, well, again, carried too much speed in. and piled into the barrier. The marshals are still trying to clean up the track the best they can. Still going to be difficult though, because there is, I mean, the oil has been kind of cleared up, but the grip of the track is not looking that great. That's Pierre Gasly out of his car, and I'm going to assume that Pierre Gasly is not going to go out on track. So Gasly is done for the day. He will start, by the way, from the pit lane for the Grand Prix, because if you don't know, he missed the weighbridge on the way back to the pits at the end of practice 2. By the way, guys, I am trying to find a new picture. Don't think I'm not. I'm currently doing that, but I can't find one at the moment. Let me just see if I can find one. But yeah, if you're just joining us, the live running order is running along the bottom of your screen. We're currently got a red flag in Q2 with 7 minutes and 41 seconds to go. And I'm just trying quickly to find a picture. If I can't, guys, then I won't be able to post one. But I'll try to. Let me just see if I can find one. No, I don't think there is one that I can put on screen right now. There will be some soon for sure. Once cars come out on the track, there'll be plenty of pictures that I'll try to get up on the screen, but I can't see any right now. As we're now 4 minutes away from the start of, and actually I've got a new picture. It is of the same incident, but it's a different angle, and it shows you the disappointment that Charles Leclerc had right after the accident happened. So let me just get that up for you guys. And here you go. And you can see there. Hold on, let me just drop it here. Look at the disappointment on his, head in hands. Can't believe it, because again, he knew that he could get pole position. He's been that good this weekend. By the way, also, I'm just noticing, looking at qualifying, if there's any more red flags, they might not be able to complete qualifying, because it looks quite dark at some places on the track. I mean, it's 25 past 6 local time, it will get underway. If we get any more red flags, it's going to be pretty dark when qualifying finishes, I'll tell you that. But yeah, there you go. And we are now 3 minutes away from, by the way, thank you again, Bobby, saying he's donated $2.99, saying Verstappen #1. Let me just see, have I missed any more? Oh, Count Blas just donated. Thank you very much. He's donated $10. Thank you very much. He says for the SF90s casket, lol. Yeah, yeah, that's it's a shame for the team to have one car now out of the main action where they were wanting the wanting their cars. By the way, Jonathan, I don't have the Q1 times, but the order, or the people knocked out in Q1, you can see on the running order once you get to 16th, and then look back from there, and that's who's been knocked out. So, for example, Lance Stroll, who was it? Grosjean, Hulkenberg, Russell, and Kubica. So there you go. But guys, good news. Qualifying 2 starts in about half a minute. So get ready. Get on the edge of your seat. Get some popcorn. Get something, because we're about to have a great finish, I think, to Q2. And they're just doing some analysis here of turn 8. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton went down there in practice 2. We covered that yesterday. And then Leclerc locking up. Maybe Leclerc was too confident turning in there. He looked like, to me, he thought the thing would stick and not hit the barriers, but of course it did. But There you go. And by the way, Jonathan, no problem for answering your question. Milos, is Leclerc out? Yes, he is. Leclerc is out of qualifying. He may still finish in the top 10 because he did set a time on the medium compound tyre. So he might still end up in the top 10, but he will not feature in the pole position fight. He will not feature at all. And here we go. So qualifying 2 is now underway. The green flags have gone. And we are now underway. The cars are not going to pile onto the track because they don't want to go out too early and miss out on the great grip that you get around this track at the very end of the session. Is there a Toro Rosso coming out in a moment? Yes, that is Alexander Albon about to come out onto the track in the Toro Rosso. That's Lando Norris in the McLaren. McLaren, haven't really talked about them that much. 8th and 9th. Whether it will stay that way, who knows? But they are 8th and 9th for now. And, well, we've had a minute gone. And by the way, let me just, before I forget, let me just update this. So there you go. So Q2, there is no longer a red flag. Q2 is underway. And who is coming out on the track? It is the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. And, well, with Leclerc now out of qualifying, that opens the door for Sebastian Vettel to get pole position. He hasn't had pole since Hockenheim in 2018. But the door's open. He has the car. But does he have the speed himself? Also out on track, the 2 McLarens, Kevin Magnussen, the 2 Toro Rossos, Daniel Ricciardo. Giovinazzi will stay in the pits, I think, because he has a 10-place grid penalty anyway, and I don't think he will start high enough to not start at the back of the grid tomorrow, even though he will start ahead of Gasly, because Gasly has to start from the pit lane because of missing the wave bridge in practice 2. And here comes Vettel, and that's a slippery track sign that's been put up there. That's not a yellow flag, if you're wondering, if you're watching. That's not a yellow flag. That's a slippery track sign. Just to warn the drivers about oil. So Sebastian Vettel, I think, will be coming. Yep, now he's coming through turn 15. I'm just going to quickly, guys, before the start of the laps in Q2, I'm going to quickly have a quick drink and then I'll get back to commentating, so hold on a minute. Right, so Sebastian Vettel, 5 minutes to go, soft tyres, he's in 12th place, he has to get out the drop zone, of course. And what's this? Oh, who is that? That's not Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg's not in Q2. Don't know why they put Hulkenberg up there. That looks like a Mercedes driver to me. It's not Mercedes because they're not on track. I don't know who that was. It's probably Ricciardo. Here comes Vettel though. On his first, or it's not his first flyer, his final, most likely, flying lap in qualifying 2. He's in 12th place. He's in the drop zone and he has to get out the drop zone. Cannot afford to be in the position that he is in. And yeah, it was Ricciardo. It was. He almost bottled it. As Vettel is half a second up on Kevin Magnussen, who is the person he needs to go faster than at the moment. Here comes Vettel though up to the castle. This is where his teammate went off. He doesn't. And he now goes through the chicane and now goes up to turn 13. Goes through that, just a kink in the straight, and now through turn 14 and into turn 15. And all looking fine. Vettel will probably go 3rd or 4th with this lap. Yeah, actually, no, might go even slower than that on the soft tyres. Here he comes, though, onto the pit straight. Sebastian Vettel, soft tyres. He's most likely going to go into the top 10. Only a reliability issue at this point can stop him. And here he comes. He does a 1 minute 42.2 and only goes P7 as Norris stays 10th, Kvyat 8th, Magnussen 11th, Ricciardo 11th, and Carlos Sainz stays in 9th. Albon goes 12th. The track to me seems to be slow. Maybe because of that oil down at the castle section. Maybe that's what it is. But the track, to me, looks as though it's slowing down in terms of grip. But I'll quickly post a picture of Sebastian Vettel coming out onto the track for the start of not the start of Q2, for the restart of Q2, as Sergio Perez is now on his final flying lap, I think, of Q2. He's currently in P4. Done great to be that high up. Here is Vettel. And that was him coming out to the track about 5 minutes ago. Here comes Perez to start his lap. Turn 1 looks absolutely fine. Perez, I have to say, has always been fantastic at Baku. He finished on the podium here in 2018 last year and 2016 and could have won the race in 2017 if it wasn't for his teammate as Perez. Now comes through turn 3, now turn 4, gets close to the wall and exit, but that's how you have to do it to maximise your speed. 1 minute to go, by the way, in practice 2, qualifying 2. I'll update the order once Q2 has finished, as he now comes up to the dreaded castle section. And what does he do? He gets through fine. And now through turn 11 and 12, and now on the mini straight through 13 and 14 down to the braking zone of turn 15. He goes through 13, that's easy, and 14. Now turn 15, turns in. Car looks very nicely balanced for Sergio Perez, very nicely balanced. And now, oh, yellow flag in sector 1. Who could that be? Oh, it's green flag now, so I assume someone's just gone a bit wide. And Perez now starts his run down the pit straight with 10 seconds to go in Q2. Sergio Perez goes... Does he go faster? Does he go... No, he doesn't go faster. Stays in P4. That was a 42.0 he did that time, but he was... his fastest time was a, 41.8 or something like that. Bottas goes faster, but stays second. Here comes Sebastian Vettel on a set of soft compound tyres. Giovinazzi's now on the track, which is interesting. Vettel half a second down on Verstappen. I'm telling you, Red Bull could take pole, and that would be something unexpected. Here comes Vettel through the S's, and now onto the pit straight, and we'll open the DRS soon to go up to, I'd imagine, 4th place, but I'm not too sure. Here he comes. Where does he go? P5, even behind Perez. Giovinazzi goes up to P9, great lap. Lando Norris, P8. Daniel Ricciardo's back there. Kvyat improves, but Daniel Ricciardo's gone into the pit lane. So Ricciardo, I believe, is out of... Yes, he is. Daniel Ricciardo is out of... And so is Albon. So Albon and Ricciardo out of qualifying 2. Here's Kevin Magnussen. This is the yellow flag. And locked up the inside front. And had to go down the escape road at turn 2 and re-spin his car around. So Ricciardo and Albon are out. Who else is out? Oh, Kvyat hitting the wall hard. I think he might have broke his rear wing there. He might be out of qualifying as well. Oh, that's a hard hit. That is a hard hit. And let's see. And this is Albon. Does he hit the wall? Oh, hard hit. Two hard hits for Albon. That rear wing has took a pounding from both Kvyat and Albon. The two Toro Rosso drivers pushing too hard. And yep, Sainz is out, so is Magnussen and Pierre Gasly. So, out of Q2 is Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, Alexander Albon, Kevin Magnussen and Pierre Gasly. And now, I'll update the order as to what it was in Q2, as we now are going to get set for the shootout for pole position, which I think is going to be very interesting now, because Max Verstappen is looking very strong in the Honda-powered Red Bull. By the way, Toro Rosso, first Q3 appearance of 2019 for them. Albon, I have to say, disappointing. You have to say that, disappointing for him. Both Alfa Romeos also making it into the top 10. Such a shame that Giovinazzi has the penalty, because Alfa could be scoring big points tomorrow if he was up there as well. So knocked out Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo. To be honest, I think Ricciardo's done pretty well to get P12, because I don't think that car is as quick as the Toro Rosso or the Haas, to be honest, especially on that straight. So Magnussen 14th, and then Gasly in 15th. So that is it for Q2. Your final order of Q2: Verstappen, Bottas, Hamilton, Perez, Vettel, Leclerc. Leclerc is out qualifying, by the way. And Q3 will start in 5 minutes also. Norris, Raikkonen 7th, Norris 8th, Kvyat 9th, and Giovinazzi 10th. And then knocked out in Q2: Sainz, Ricciardo, Albon, Magnussen, and Gasly. And then knocked out in Q1 with Stroll, Grosjean, Hulkenberg, Russell, and Kubica. But now, we get our mind set towards Q3, which starts in about 4 minutes' time. I will now quickly, for you guys, try and find a different picture to quickly put on the screen. Let me just have a quick look. If I can't find one, though, I'll have to leave up the picture that's already there. But, by the way, I want to compliment Lando Norris for out-qualifying Carlos Sainz in Baku. Something that's quite hard to do, because Carlos Sainz is good at this track. Finished 5th last year, and I think he finished in 6th in 2017. Did Carlos Sainz. So yeah, good job there. And P8 as well. If he can qualify there for the Grand Prix, that would be mega. But I've got a different picture for you guys, and it is of the man who hold on a minute. Let me just get it up on screen. It's the man who finished fastest in qualifying 2 and could feature in the race for a pole position. You never know. Max looking quick as ever. But yeah, we're now what, 3 minutes away, 2 minutes away from the start of Q3. So get ready, guys. It's been a very long qualifying session. It's almost been 2 hours long. So yeah, get ready, guys, for what is going to be a very interesting top 10. Ferrari, they're under pressure, really under pressure here. Now, I will say, if they don't get pole, it's not a disaster, because you don't necessarily need pole position at this track to win. But you need to get pole most times anyway, if you're really going to win a Grand Prix. So yeah, they're under pressure, Ferrari. They're really under pressure. But yeah, we're now what? Yeah, not 2 minutes. No, we're now 90 seconds away. 90 seconds from the start of qualifying 3. As Leclerc is currently giving an interview to Sky F1. Someone asking, is it dark out there? It's not light, but it's not properly dark. Right, I'm just looking at the chat to see what you guys are saying. Charles cannot drive the car because again, it's a rule. If you stop out on track, if you stop out on track, you cannot then restart in qualifying. If you stop out on track, you're done. That's it. By the way, though, for $10 from Alan Giao, I think it is. If I mispronounce his second name, I'm so sorry, but obviously your first name is easy to pronounce. He says Red Bull is on fire this week. Indeed, Red Bull have been surprisingly good this weekend. As Ferrari, they're now waiting to release Sebastian Vettel for the start of qualifying 3, as the green light will go, I think, about now for the start of Q3. Does it go now? No, not yet. Now it is. So the green flag goes now. So Q3, 12 minutes of Q3 is now underway. The shootout for pole position begins in Baku. And let's see who will get pole position, because to be honest, it's a bit of a throw-up. It could be Vettel, could be Bottas, could be Hamilton, could be Max Verstappen. It definitely won't be Charles Leclerc, who is likely to start 10th on a set of medium tyres. And here comes Max Verstappen. Wouldn't it be amazing if he got pole in that car at this track? That would really surprise people and maybe scare some people as to the upgrades and the way they're improving in 2019 so far. As Hamilton and Bottas are soon to come on track. We're a minute into Q3, only Verstappen on track. So don't worry guys, won't be too long until we get the first runs of Q3. Max going out there to get a first proper run in before there's any red flags and disruptions. So here comes Hamilton and Bottas, the two silver arrows. Can they beat Ferrari to pole position and also Red Bull with Max Verstappen? Can they do it? If they did, it'd be another superb job by the boys from Brackley and Brixworth. But we'll see, because it is really difficult, to be honest, to absolutely say who is going to get pole here. It could be any of the top 5. Not Perez, but you know what I mean, the top, 5 drivers normally, which is well, not top 5, top 4, because Leclerc is out, isn't he? So Vettel, Verstappen, Bottas and Hamilton. Those are the people that can get pole by the looks of it. 10 minutes to go in Q3. All the drivers are out on track except for Leclerc, who is out qualifying, and Kvyat. And here comes Max Verstappen on his first run in qualifying 3. Down to turn 1, powered by the Honda. Can he get Honda's first pole position since, I think, the 2006 Australian Grand Prix? I think that was the last time Honda Power was on pole position. Very, very long time ago. That's 13 years ago. And here comes Verstappen. Through turn 3. Into turn 4. You have to say the car looks very, very nicely balanced. As ever, the Red Bull car aerodynamically so good. Max Verstappen also at a street track, looking quick as ever as he now comes into the corner before the castle section. Looks all good there. Now comes to the castle, and that's brilliant by Max. Turns into 11 and 12. Car sticking very nicely. Runs slightly wide, but that's no problem. And now comes through to turn 15. By the way, he did a 41.3, I think, for Q2. So that's the reference for the first run in Q3. He does a 1 minute 16.3 so far on his lap. Here comes Max Verstappen. And Bottas has done a faster first sector. Does Hamilton go even faster? Yes, he does. So it's very close, guys. Very, very close. Here comes Max Verstappen to the line. And does a 1 minute 41.4. He could go faster than that for sure. But he's done a 41.4 so far. Here comes Valtteri Bottas through turns 13. And then 14. And then down into 15. And now he comes up to turn 16 where the middle sector point is. How quick is he compared to Max Verstappen? Quick enough. He's just under 2/10 up. Hamilton, 6/10 up. Lewis Hamilton is on an absolute storming lap. And here comes Valtteri Bottas with 7 minutes to go in Q3. Comes to the line, opens the DRS. He will surely go faster. Where does he go? He does go faster by a quarter of a second, but here comes Lewis Hamilton with a 1 minute 40.7, half a second clear of Valtteri Bottas and 7/10 clear of Max Verstappen. Here comes Vettel. Can Vettel do anything? Here he comes. No, he's not half a second. He is 4/10 off in second. And Ferrari look like they've seen a ghost because Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton have done it yet again so far. They've upset the balance. So 6.5 minutes to go. And so far, it is advantage to Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton provisionally with 6.5 minutes to go in Q3 is on pole position. From Vettel in second, Bottas third, then Verstappen in fourth, Perez fifth, Norris sixth, Giovinazzi seventh, Raikkonen eighth. Kvyat is ninth, but is on an outlap for his first lap in qualifying 3. So that's your top 10. And of course, Leclerc is at the back. Charles Leclerc at the back. And is this Max Verstappen going for another run? I believe it is. Yes, it is. Max Verstappen going for another run. So he's obviously not happy with his first run and believes he can go faster. By the way, I'll post a picture right now of the man who is provisionally, for the time being, on pole position with 5.5 minutes to go. Let me just get it up on screen. Verstappen, a 10th off Hamilton in the first sector. Not bad. It's an improved first sector for Max. But let me quickly post up a picture of your provisional pole position man. Let me just get it up. There you go. Here he is, Lewis Hamilton, 5 minutes away from pole position. I'll wait to see what Verstappen does, then I will do the running order, guys, so don't worry. I will do in a moment. Just want to see how Verstappen does. Quarter of a second off in the middle sector. Verstappen could go second with this lap. Let's see what the Honda power unit, when it's turned up to full beams, can do on this final sector. Down the pit straight. DRS now wide open. Sparking away. Where does Max Verstappen go? He does go second. And about, half a tenth ahead of Vettel. So Max Verstappen on the front row for now with 4 minutes to go in Q3. So let me quickly update the order of the top 10 going into that final run. So Lewis Hamilton provisionally on pole position. I'm going to be honest, I don't think anyone can beat him. I think Lewis has pole position. And then Verstappen is third. Verstappen second, sorry. Vettel third. Bottas fourth. And then in fifth, Sergio Perez. Kvyat is now on a lap. So I'll just quickly do the order. Norris sixth, great for him. Giovinazzi seventh. And then Kimi Raikkonen 8th, Kvyat 9th, and then Charles Leclerc 10th. Charles Leclerc will remain 10th and will start 10th on medium compound tyres. By the way, I've just remembered to do that. Sorry about that, but it's Q3 now. But there you go. Q3. And Danny Kvyat is now on the pit straight and is about to complete the lap. Here he comes to the line, sticks to the very inside of the track, and goes 6th. 6th place for Danny Kvyat. That is, and here comes Sebastian Vettel with only 2.5 minutes to go. He better get on with his out lap. Great lap by Kvyat, 6th place. And by the way, with top runners, you know, retiring or doing stuff like that, it's a great chance. What are the Mercedes drivers doing? They're doing a practice start. Oh, they're trying to... I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to be at the back of the pack. Right. What was I trying to say? I've completely forgot. Don't worry about it. So, Kvyat 6th. Norris in 7th. And then Giovinazzi is 8th. So, at the moment, Antonio Giovinazzi will start 18th tomorrow. Which is not too bad, considering we were expecting him to be at the absolute back. But we now have 90 seconds left in qualifying 3. And going into the final run, it is Lewis Hamilton on pole from Max Verstappen 2nd, Sebastian Vettel 3rd, 4th is Valtteri Bottas, 5th is Sergio Perez, 6th is Danny Kvyat. Verstappen is parking it for the day, so he's happy with 2nd. So yeah, Kvyat 6th, 7th is Norris, 8th is Antonio Giovinazzi, 9th Kimi Raikkonen, and 10th is Charles Leclerc, who will not set a time because he crashed in Q2 at the castle section. We now have a minute to go. Vettel warming up his tyres. There's 2 Mercedes drivers here kind of getting a bit muddled up in terms of track position. They still have plenty of time to wait. So they don't need to rush here. They've got what, 45 seconds left. Hamilton here now needs to back right up. And here we go. It's going to be a massive traffic jam now. And Hamilton, oh, this is going to hurt him. That's going to hurt him. So here comes Sebastian Vettel. By the way, nicely for one of the Alfa Romeos, they're going to get a slipstream behind Sebastian Vettel. I think it's Antonio Giovinazzi. I think. Yeah, so he'll get a nice slipstream. But here comes Vettel down into turn 1. Can Vettel rescue pole position for Ferrari? Here he comes down into turn 2. Car looks nicely balanced, but can he do the time to get into, as Q3 now is officially over, but everyone is now, except for Verstappen and Perez and Leclerc, on their final runs. Here comes Vettel into turn 4. Very close to the wall, and now comes up to turn 5 to the first sector point. And he's up by half a tenth. Is he going to take it away from Hamilton? This would be such a confidence boost if Vettel got pole. Bottas is up on his first sector time. Hamilton's down. Hamilton's down by 2 tenths. That could be the difference. Here comes Vettel through the castle section. 11 and 12 done. Now into turn 13. Through that absolutely fine. Now into 14. Now down into turn 15. Don't lock up. He hasn't. Carrying good speed. Now comes up to the mid-sector. Is Vettel doing enough? No, he's a tenth off, but he does have a better straight line speed apparently, so let's now see it. Can Sebastian Vettel take pole from Lewis Hamilton? Bottas looks as though he could go second. Here comes Vettel, pit straight, DRS, wide open, to the line. Sebastian Vettel goes... Does he go fast? No! Second, a tenth off. Vettel goes second. Norris has gone 7th for McLaren. Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas goes fastest. Lewis Hamilton stays second. Valtteri Bottas Pole position by half a tenth. Bottas on pole, Hamilton second. Is another Mercedes 1-2 with Vettel third, Verstappen fourth, Perez fifth, Kvyat sixth, Norris seventh, Giovinazzi eighth, Raikkonen ninth, Leclerc 10th. There's your Q3 and a new track record for Valtteri Bottas, a 140.4, and Valtteri Bottas strikes back in the World Championship battle between him and Lewis Hamilton. Let me quickly update the order. So Bottas takes his second consecutive pole position from Hamilton second, Vettel third, Verstappen fourth. I think Max will be happy with his day. Perez fifth, Kvyat sixth, Norris seventh, Giovinazzi eighth, Raikkonen ninth, Leclerc 10th. And then the rest of the order you can see. So let me just update this to say that qualifying has finished. There you go. No, I've misspelled it. Let me just do that again. Qualifying finished. So there you go. Valtteri Bottas on pole position. I'm again happy for the guy because again he gets so much, or had so much criticism at the back end of 18, sorry, and he's gone out there and shown that he can compete at the top with the best. He's gone and done it again. He's such a good qualifying driver. Can sometimes be a bit off the pace in the races, but in qualifying, you cannot doubt Valtteri Bottas is a good qualifying driver, and he's just proved it once again by beating Hamilton for the second Grand Prix in a row in qualifying. But again, we have to say, Ferrari have bottled it again. Now, they could still go get the race win tomorrow, but what a disaster. It's happened again. Ferrari, it's happened again. They've gone and thrown it away. Should have been on the front row. And they've ended up 3rd and 10th. And Mercedes will now start on the front row. So there you go. That's qualifying all over with. And now, not for too long, because I do want to go get the qualifying review ready pretty soon. But for the next 20 minutes or so, with me, guys, react to what happened in qualifying. Let me know right now in the live chat what happened, or what did you think of what happened? What do you think of Mercedes and Ferrari bottling it, and Red Bull and Sergio Perez's great performance and stuff like that? Let me know right now in the live chat, and I'll read out as many comments as I can. Can't promise I'll read out every comment because there are so many coming through right now. But yeah, go ahead in the comments, put your comments in. And again, for later on and for tomorrow, don't forget to subscribe for more content to do with the 2019 Azerbaijan Grand Prix weekend. But I'm trying at the moment, before I start reading out comments, I'm trying to find a picture of Valtteri Bottas. Let me just go and get one a minute, and then I'll come back to you guys because I want the pole position man on the screen. So let me just go and get one. Is that it? Yeah, got one. And this is another thing that we'll talk about more tomorrow, can Valtteri get back the win that was so cruelly took away from him last year? He was, what, 2 laps away from winning? And then his tyre let go. Can he do it tomorrow? We'll see. But here he is, your pole position man, Valtteri Bottas. Great job. Fantastic, especially for the Mercedes team. And I'm going to say this now. If the top 3 in qualifying that's just finished, if that finishes, if that's the same way it is in the Grand Prix at the end, then I think Mercedes have both championships completely wrapped up. Because Ferrari just cannot produce when it matters. They can't do it. Again, quick car bottled it. Maybe Charles Leclerc could have been up there. Maybe could have, but Ferrari again have blown it, and they're going to pay for it, I think. But let me now read out some comments. I'll try to pick out the best comments I can. Can't promise I'll read out every single one, but I'll try to read out as many as I can. Thomas Hill says Esteban Ocon is crying in the back of the Mercedes garage, probably. Johnny Weaver says well done Baku. Bignard says both Albers in Q3. That's their best so far, best weekend 2019. Ninjas says Charles might start 10th, but he will start 20th. Not too sure about that. If they want to, change the chassis or stuff like that, then maybe he will start at the back. But it's better at this track, I think, to start in 10th than it is at the back. Brandon says Hamilton set 2 purple sectors, but his first sector ruined his chances. Yeah, his first sector was 0.2 slower than his best first sector in the first run of Q3. So if he improved, even by 1,000th of a second, he would have got pole. But again, and I said this in China, it's about delivering when it matters. And that's something that the Mercedes team does and the Ferrari team just doesn't understand. Nib says, Ferrari have Ferrari'd it. Forget Spursing it up. It's Ferrari'd it up. Yeah. Yeah, Ferrari are really, really just... They're destroying the 2019. They're destroying it by making so many errors. Right, let me read through some more. Ferrari got up their game. Absolutely. Nice grab by Merck on another Ferrari track. Lol, that's from Count Blah. Rene says such a boring race again tomorrow. Just because it's a Mercedes 1-2 doesn't mean it will be a boring race. For example, 2017 we had a Mercedes front row, and look at the race that happened. So just because it's a Mercedes 1-2 doesn't mean it's going to be boring. Mr. Random Guy says Perez P5 and Stroll P16. Wow. Yeah. Prussia says, yay, another Mercedes 1-2 tomorrow. How exciting. Kathia, I think it is. Let me just go back up. If I can find it. There it is. It says, Perez is the most underrated driver. A stellar performance today. I've said this so many times. That guy should be in a top car. Maybe not ahead of other certain drivers. But he's definitely better than, say, Pierre Gasly, for sure. Drivers like that, I think he's definitely better than him and Hulkenberg and, drivers like that. So, yeah, he is underrated, for sure. Absolutely. Fishlet says, and again, Toto did not expect this. Sandbagging till the end. They keep the margins small to keep people thinking it's a sport. Yeah, from now on, I'm just going to say Mercedes to get pole. Because it's the safe prediction and it's what's going to happen probably anyway. It's better to be surprised if Ferrari get pole or Red Bull get pole anyway. Someone saying, Mr. Random Guy says Perez OP in Baku. Indeed he is. By the way, if you're just tuning in, the running order along the bottom of your screen is the finishing order of qualifying. That is the finishing order. And it's not exactly the grid for tomorrow because Gasly and Giovinazzi will go more towards the back. But you know what I mean. That's the grid, basically, for tomorrow. Sebastian says, championship over after tomorrow. You know it's a bad race when Mercedes have a 1-2. Well done, Mercedes, on winning the championship. Wait. Because, again, it's Baku. Chaos can happen. Ferrari can still win tomorrow. So don't count Ferrari out. They can win tomorrow. I'm not saying they will, but they can. And that's all that matters for now. Let me find some more comments here. Tripod says something about Vettel and Verstappen there that I just missed. I just missed it. Oh, that's a shame. I think there it is. Tripod says Vettel is completely uncomfortable with Max in fourth. Yeah, he will be. He doesn't like Max Verstappen. And neither does Max like him. I think that's pretty clear. That's a good one, Andrew Drury. That is a good one. Thomas Hill, Giovinazzi just as quick as Raikkonen. Yeah, that is a surprise. And you know what? Well done, Antonio Giovinazzi. Well done on your weekend so far. But please do it consistently, not just at, one track, 2 tracks a season. Hopefully, he can continue this into the European season. Junior says Ferrari needs to get back their pass from pre-season. Right, let me just find some more comments here in regards to what's happened. I'm going to react with you guys for another, 15 minutes, and then I'll come off because I do want to get the qualifying review ready, because I was supposed to go live with that at 6 p.m, but qualifying finished so late that I'm going to have to now delay it till 7 p.m. because I need time to set it up. Ryan says, even if it's a 1-2 finish for Mercedes, the practice 1 to 3 is already more entertaining than the whole 3 previous race weekends. No, but Bahrain was very, very exciting. I don't think anyone can doubt that. So, yeah. This weekend has been great so far, and I think we are in for a good race for sure. Nib says that Toto confirms that track temps dropping helped them. It seems that way. It does seem that way. Dexter Hall asks, do you think Charles would have got pole? Oh, I don't know. He would have been, I think he... Oh, that's difficult to say. He would have out-qualified Vettel. I think that's a guarantee. Because this weekend, Charles Leclerc has just been way faster than Sebastian Vettel. I can't say if he would have got pole. I think he might have sneaked a front row. But you have to remember, Sebastian Vettel was 3/10 down on pole position. Would Leclerc have been that much faster? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Matthias, what happened to Leclerc? He crashed at the castle section midway through Q2 and was out of qualifying and will start P10 on medium compound tyres. The only positive for Leclerc, actually there's 3 positives. 1, he's probably the best driver around this track. 2, he has a quick car to get past the traffic. And 3, he is starting on the best tyre to start on for the Grand Prix, in my opinion, which is the medium compound. So, it's not all over yet. I think Leclerc could still get a podium from where he's starting in P10. So don't think, if you are a Leclerc fan, that he is destined to be miles off the podium, because I think he can still get it. And, given a couple safety cars, then he could be right up there for the win. Don't count him out. Francisco says probably one of the best qualifyings I've ever seen. I've seen better qualifying sessions than that, but it was great. I don't think we can doubt that. Right, let me read out some more comments for the next 10 minutes or so. Halam says Max to win and Kimi on the podium. That'd be great. Astro Stevo says quali was dramatic. Hopefully the race will be 2. Mark says Leclerc is so much better than Vettel. I don't think we can say that right now, because look, Vettel in Melbourne and Shanghai was faster than Charles. Yeah, Charles was better in Bahrain and was going to win, but that's only one race. Out of the 4 races so far, Vettel, even though Leclerc has been faster this weekend, his mistake, and that it is his mistake, it has cost him a chance at pole. So I think Vettel has so far this season been better than Charles Leclerc. By the way, thank you to Ruza Ruse for donating 99 cents there. Brandon says, or this is his prediction for tomorrow, is Bottas to win from Hamilton second, Leclerc third. One thing that's good if you start on pole is that it's such a short run to turn one that even if the guy alongside you gets a better start, you can still defend pretty well. So, yeah. I think Bottas has a lot bigger of a chance of maintaining the lead into turn one than he did in Shanghai because, again, Baku, shorter run from grid to turn one than it is in Shanghai. I'm just trying to... There's some funny comments in there. Just trying to see the best comments. Will Charles start P9? Oh, yes, he will. Yeah, Charles Leclerc will start P9, indeed, because Giovinazzi has a penalty. So Leclerc will start P9 on the mediums behind Kimi Raikkonen. Spider Monkey, great to see you. He asks, would you think Stroll could end up in the points? Only if it's a chaotic race. I don't think he has enough speed to get into the top 10. Right, let me find some more comments here. I'm going to try and read out as many as I can in the next 10 minutes. So if you've got any comments or questions, then please go ahead and ask it, because I am going to be coming off in about 10 to 15 minutes to set up the review of qualifying, which, by the way, will be going live at either 7 or 7:30 p.m. UK time. I don't know for sure what time I'll go live for that, but I'm thinking probably 7 p.m. UK time. So, yeah, don't forget to subscribe for that and come along for that. And hit the notifications bell. By the way, if you haven't already, hit the like button on this stream. It's been a great stream. Had, at one point, a lot of people watching. And, yeah, again, I'm really thankful for you guys, you know, watching and, you know, enjoying the videos and streams. So thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just reading plenty of comments there. Astro Stevo says Leclerc will be in for an interesting race tomorrow. Indeed. John Hubner says, Chaz, you guaranteed me that Mercedes would not win 20 races. They got you thinking now? No, I still don't think they will. I still don't think they will. Mercedes will not win 20 races. I guarantee that. They will not win 20 races. Guaranteed. If I'm wrong, make sure to come and tell me by the Brazilian Grand Prix if they've won the first 20 out of 21 races. And as Tonka Toy Truck is saying, don't forget to join our Discord server. The link below, there's a link below to it in the description. I think it's like third from bottom. That server is the best place for notifications on my videos, and also that's the hardcore Chazza HDF1 community that's in that server. So if you want to join it, go ahead and do so. And it is on a race weekend, not massively active, but it is pretty active in that server. And again, it's the best place for notifications of my videos and streams. Prussia says, there is no defeating Merck, and I'm feeling bad for all the FE fans that Merck is now coming into their series as well and will ruin it by dominating. I'm not going to comment on that. Someone asking my views on Ricciardo. Okay. I mean, the Renault car, let's be honest, has been terrible this weekend, and it looks to be a terrible car to drive this weekend. So he's done all right. Nothing special though. Thomas Hill asks, did you watch the F2 race earlier? I didn't. The reason is because it was so early in the morning. I'm going to be honest, I couldn't be asked to get up for it because, again, it was so early in the morning. I just didn't have... I just couldn't be bothered to wake up for it. But he also says something about There was a big crash on the race restart. Is this due to the new rule you can't overtake until you pass the finish line? Could it happen in F1? Yeah, but also it's down to, because at this track, it's very easy to get cold tyres and cold brakes. That's also why you get accidents, because down into turn 1, if you lock up your both front tyres, if you've got cold tyres or cold brakes, then it's game over for either you or another car. But I just want to say as well, though, or ask you guys for the next 5 minutes or so, who is your driver of the day in qualifying? For me, I'm going to go for Sergio Perez for my driver of the day in qualifying. If you disagree, let me know right now in the comments and also the live chat. And I'll read out some, say, best drivers of the day in the chat for the next 5 minutes. Junior says or asks, what do you think about Vettel winning the race tomorrow? I'm going to have to think about it. I'm not sure. McClaw Larson, nice to see you. A long time sub, says Kvyat. Nib says Perez. Spider Monkey says Perez. Mr. Writer says Gasly. Camille says Kubica. Oh my. Tonka Toy Truck says Perez. Francisco says Perez. MCL13 says who's he say? Norris, but that's understandable given his username. Francisco also says Bottas. Yep. JDM Gearhead says Perez. Rizwan says Charles Leclerc. Astro Stevo says maybe Perez. Graham Hobbs, Perez. Spider Monkey says just imagine if Perez won. I tell you, Perez, he could get another podium from that position, because if you get, say if you get a big crash at the front, that's 2 positions, and then all he needs is what, a retirement from another big runner, and he's in there, so he could get a podium. Let me just see any more. Let me just find some more driver of the day. Maldonado. Electro Knights asks, do you think if Leclerc moves up the field enough tomorrow and catches up to Sebastian, do you think they will let him and Leclerc fight? It depends on the situation. If Mercedes are way out in front, 1-2, then I think they will, because then they won't have anything to really lose at that point. But if, say, Vettel is right behind Leclerc, or no, if Vettel is right behind the 2 Mercedes drivers and Leclerc then is way faster than Vettel and catches up to him, then I think Ferrari might tell Vettel to let Charles through to have a go at Bottas and Hamilton. But it depends on the situation. I can't say. It depends on the situation. Spider Monkey says driver of the day, Ericsson. That's probably why Leclerc ended up in the barrier, to be honest, because Ericsson hit him. What do you think of McLaren this weekend? Asks MCL13. Good. It could have been better. I think Sainz could have done better than P11. But good. Definitely with Lando Norris in P7 on the grid. That's a very, very good qualifying. And if you can stay out of trouble, get a slipstream off a couple people, you never know. He could have a top 5 finish if there's chaos. Let me just see some more. Thomas Hill, driver of the day, recovery vehicle driver. Graham Hobbs, the question is, if Leclerc catches Seb, do you think Charles would listen to the team? Depends what they say. If they say stay behind, but Charles is way faster, then I don't think he would. I think Charles would just go for it and try and get past. And he should, if he is way, way faster and Vettel is holding him up. But again, it depends on the situation. We don't know. Leclerc might get a great start and get already up to P5 after lap 1 and then be right there to go and win it. We don't know. It all comes down to what happens at the start, how Ferrari do at the start. It depends on that. We'll have to see. Dexter Hall. Weren't Mercedes 8/10 off an FP1? Well, there wasn't an FP1 to speak of. But yeah, there we go. I will answer or read out, say, 2 more comments, and then I will come to the end of the stream because I think I've been yapping for a bit too long, almost 3.5 hours. All right, Astro Stevo. He says, or asks, have Vettel lost, or have Ferrari lost faith in Vettel, or vice versa? I think at times they've both lost faith in each other, but I think they are committed for now to each other. And final comment goes to Warren Colton. And his comment is, strategy will be majorly important tomorrow. Run a 1-stop, but I'm pretty sure a couple of safety cars for sure. Yeah, it's going to be very important tomorrow when it comes to tyres and, you know, safety cars, virtual safety cars, maybe a red flag, you never know. Going to be very interesting tomorrow, and I think, guys, we are in for a fantastic Grand Prix tomorrow. We've got plenty of action coming up tomorrow. But there you go. Valtteri Bottas on pole position. But guys, thank you for coming along. That is the end of the qualifying watch along, and this is a record-breaking qualifying watch along. We had the most viewers in my channel's history during a live stream. We had 1,200 people at one point. I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can't thank you enough. I just need to let you guys know though, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. On the bottom right of the screen or homepage, click on my channel name, go to the homepage, subscribe and hit the notifications bell, because I will be live again at 7 PM UK time, so in about 2.5 hours, for a full review of qualifying for about an hour. So make sure to come along to that at 7 PM UK time. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Has been great as always. And again, don't forget to hit the like button. Comment down below what you thought of this video. Comment down below also, what did you think of a chaotic qualifying in Baku? Don't forget to join my Discord server, link below in the description. That's the best place for notifications of my videos and streams. And also, that's the hardcore Chazza HDF1 community. Follow me on Twitter at Chaz6110. That's a great place to keep up to date with me and the channel. And also, check out my website, chazzahd.com, for more content like this. But guys, until the qualifying review in 2.5 hours time at 7 PM UK time, and don't forget to come along, guys, to the race watch along starting at 12:10 PM UK time, 1 hour exactly before the race starts, tomorrow on Sunday afternoon. Until then, guys, it has been me, Chazza HD. Goodbye.